Press 1 for butt fun. Press 2 if you wanna follow through. Press 3 if you're gay. Press 4 for a three-way. Let's think about who? Let's think about what? Let's think about sluts. Do they know they're sluts? Let's find out. A disclaimer. You're a bitch, and you should feel like a bitch. Bake cookies and wank on 'em. Give the icing. So sticky. You should fuck. You should fuck. You should fuck men again and again. Even on a dip. Even on a bad day. I go bend over, slap the ass. I go bend over, slap the ass. I go bend over, slap the
I make all my songs live on Twitch. You can check that out in the link down below.
Hello, welcome. How's it going, everyone? I almost didn't unmute myself. How are you? Sorry for being so late. I really struggled to get out of bed. I just felt absolutely exhausted. You know, when you have one of those days where you're conscious just about, but you just cannot will yourself to open your eyes or move. I felt like I weighed like 10 million pounds. How's it going? Pretty good, Caribbean Sea Buccaneer. My brain thought that was Caribbean sauce in your ear. Like my brain, like I can't read properly. I have dyslexia, so my brain just kind of like extrapolates and kind of guesses what the jumble of letters is gonna be. It makes reading usernames really hard. Hey, Sonny, thank you so much. And Savage, thanks for the super chat, sweetheart. I'm baking my own bread. Do you bake your own bread? I don't. I used to when I was younger, though. I used to do that a lot. However, I did end up like just taking advantage of the convenience of not having to bake it. Ant-Man, thank you so much. I appreciate the 10 gifties. Because like on the one hand, it's really fun and it fills your house with this beautiful scent. And like bread tastes different when you bake it fresh at home, right? But at the same time, I feel like sometimes we should totally relish in the convenience that has been provided for us because for hundreds of thousands of years, humans have existed, right? And at no point for most of that time was there a bakery or a supermarket or even sliced bread, pre-sliced bread was not a thing for most of the existence of bread. So basically, we used to have to spend hours and hours washing our own laundry in the river, scraping it against a fucking rack because we didn't have washing machines. And, basic conveniences just did not exist. Fucking toilet paper is really new to the UK. Like, we didn't have toilet paper in the UK for most of the existence of our species. Ridiculous. So I kind of feel like sometimes, while it's really beautiful to relish in like the traditional stuff, I feel like I really want to take advantage of the fact that it takes me a few seconds or a few minutes to achieve what like a medieval person would have to take 3 or 4 days to a week to achieve, making all their food from scratch and all that sort of stuff. And so sometimes I just kind of feel like I want to take advantage of like all of the convenience that the world has given as well. And I think it's lost on us. Like everyone can appreciate a freshly baked home bread loaf. Like everyone's like, oh, that smells amazing. Oh, that tastes amazing. But nobody really goes to the supermarket and goes, fuck, it feels so fucking good to know that after a long day's work, I don't have to like go on a baking journey. I don't have to go on a side quest for the next few hours to have fucking bread. It's just instantly here and fluffy and ready, and I don't have to worry about burning my house down potentially to make it I love you. Fresh bread in the morning is something from another world, the smell, the taste. Yeah, and I wonder if, like, bakers who work in supermarkets and stuff in the supermarket section, you know, they have, like, homebread baked bread. Does it ever get lost on them? Do they just like, "Oh, it smells like work." Oh, did I miss gift subs? Oh, thank you, Rain and Merritt. Thank you both so fucking much. I appreciate the warm welcome, everyone. Thanks for the gifties. I had terrible sleep. To be honest, so did I. I'm so tired. Yeah, fuck. Twins. I'm sorry, dude. Oh, I saw your dick. I saw your dick. I saw the back rooms. I went and saw the back rooms and it was incredible. I haven't actually loved a horror movie this much in forever. So fucking good. I really looked forward to seeing it as well. That's rare for me. And it was even better than I expected. So, fucking loved that movie. If you haven't seen it, do. Have a wife who wakes up 4 hours early to bake good bread in the morning. I swear you don't deserve that woman unless you are getting up early to go get your asshole waxed and you are like working out at the gym and like making sure that she has everything she wants, paying for her nails, whatever. Like, as long as you're going above and beyond. Otherwise, nah, don't do that. Let her get someone who deserves her. I thought your chair was part of your hair. Huh. I guess you could be forgiven for making that mistake. Is it just me, bitch? Or am I a bit short right now? Let me fix that. Can you see I moved Pete's little bed? You can see him above my thumb. He's enjoying his bed. He likes sitting up and watching the screen when I play games and stuff now. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. In July 2019, my partner cancelled our wedding 2 weeks before. We got married December 2021. My dad took his life February 2022, and then my grandparents died in January 2023. My wife had a mental breakdown. I'm so sorry. That sounds like so much. That's a lot to go through. I feel like sometimes bad things do just come in threes. Like, sometimes you just go through a wave of everything at once. I became the sole income provider for our house. She started IVF. We split up in October 2023. We got back together. She wanted me to man up. We had my daughter 2025. I got arrested November. She split up with me, turned my friends against me, not let me see my daughter since. She wants me to sell my home and give her all of the money to own her own house outright. Is it fair? I feel like we just speed ran the worst years of your life and I can't weigh in reliably. And the reason why I can't weigh in reliably is because someone is the problem here, maybe both of you, maybe one of you. And there's no way to know without asking both of you. Because it could be that she is a nightmare. It could be that you are a nightmare. It could be that you're both a nightmare. But we'll never know, and it's hard for you to know because specifically you will have blind spots. You will have blind spots which make it very, very hard for you to see whether or not either A, you're in the wrong, or B, see whether or not you're like allowing and gravitating towards bad behavior and tolerating bad behavior that most people wouldn't. Because those two things like aren't the same but can cause the same outcome. Like sometimes people who've grown up in terrible environments tend to gravitate towards terrible people without realizing. And so they end up in an ever tumbling cycle of constant drama, and they're like, "Why? I thought this was a good person. I fell in love with the person I thought you were be. I fell in love with the person I thought you were, not the person that you actually are. I thought you were this wonderful, nice, kind person, but I've ended up with an abuser again." And so a lot of people fall into that cycle, and a lot of people fall into the I'm not in the wrong. I'm never in the wrong. My parents acted this way. This is the way relationships are. Don't make a big deal out of it. Don't be weak and pathetic about it. This isn't violence. This isn't anger. This isn't me being bad. This is all your fault. And so, because most people have blind spots, from that very brief overview of your personal tragedies and the things that you've gone through that sound really fucking rough, and I really do sympathize, there is no way for me to know whether or not she's in the wrong. Absolutely no way. That is way too brief an overview. And so, like, I don't think you could reliably get a truthful answer from anybody, not a therapist, not a doctor, not a scientist, not God could tell you just from those sentences who was in the wrong there and what the best moves forward for everyone in your family is. Nobody. There's just not enough information. I'm so sorry. But it's enough information for me to empathize with you and say that is fucking hard. And I hope you have a support network. I hope you have people in your life that you can turn to for support or a distraction or a cup of tea or just something nice because it's hard to go through all of that alone. And I know she socially isolated you from your friends, but hopefully you still got someone. I really do. I really, really hope you have someone. And if you don't, I really recommend getting a therapist right now. I really, 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 really think that if you are very, very isolated right now, the best move might be therapy. Because also, that is someone you could tell the whole overview to, who might be able to give you a better perspective, a more accurate perspective on what's going on right now in your life. I just got a question. I've recently started dating a girl with Tourette's. How do I stop giving her tics? I've given her about 4 now. She can't even figure out what's triggering her to get these. Um, Unfortunately, I don't think that's under either of your control. I feel like when you spend a lot of time around someone, they become what you are hearing a lot of words from, and words can become tics, and gestures can become tics. So, like, for example, I played a lot of Overwatch. I was never sleeping with Overwatch. I was never taking Overwatch out to dinner. I was never going and, going ice skating with Overwatch. Overwatch was just a game I was playing. I was just sitting in front of it for a few hours a day, and I got loads of Overwatch ticks back in like 2016 or whatever time it was that it came out, right? And so, like, there was nothing that Overwatch as a company could have done to make sure that I wouldn't catch any of the ticks because I needed all those sounds to play. And it's like your girlfriend needs to listen to you and interact with you in order to be your girlfriend. So there isn't really any way to filter the sounds and interactions she has from you. I think like the worst part about Tourette's is trying to control Tourette's because often it just makes things worse. Um so I would just say don't try. Just don't. Like it's not your fault. It's neither of your fault. And if you weren't the main thing influencing her tics, something else would have been. What advice would you give to a young person with Tourette syndrome? I don't know. Everything's flashing before my eyes. I had a terrible childhood because of my Tourette syndrome, and I think what would have fixed everything for me is if I had a diagnosis, if the school that I went to knew that I had Tourette syndrome and was making accommodations, and if they didn't make accommodations, then I go to a school that can provide accommodations for my Tourette syndrome. Um, so that I knew that I could learn reliably without any risk to my safety from the other students and without any um like pressure or risk from teachers so that I could actually get an education because I didn't get to have an education because of my Tourette's. And that was really fucking hard and horrible and isolating. And the fact of the matter is, I think trying to cushion your child from the repercussions of people's reactions will only stunt them. That they need to know that for the rest of their life, people are going to react this way, and that learning how to manage people's reactions is going to be a defining skill set for you and an act of survival for the rest of your life. And the sooner you gain that skill set, the less uh, life ruining Tourette's is. So, if I wasn't socially isolated and sitting at home in home education, for years and years with no interactions with people, I think my life would have started a lot younger. But my life started at about 27. Couldn't get a job, couldn't get friends, couldn't go anywhere, couldn't travel properly, couldn't take a bus safely. My life was fucking ruined by my Tourette's. But if I had known it was Tourette syndrome, had a formal diagnosis, and was able to tell people what was going on with me, I would have been able to develop social skills a lot younger and been a lot safer a lot younger too. So I'd say just like don't retreat, don't hide from people because like there is a way to carve out an existence with Tourette syndrome, even though it pisses people off and even though people don't fully understand it around you, there is a way to have a really fucking amazing life, but that doesn't begin until you start learning how to people manage and learning how to explain yourself and learning how to put people at ease. Uh-uh. Is Tourette's human only? No, other animals have Tourette's. There's a horse with Tourette's. But they also give animals Tourette's in the lab to study it by injecting acid into their brains to completely destroy a part of the brain that, doesn't work properly in people with Tourette's. So that's how they study it in animals, which is pretty fucked up. It's actually why so there was a Tourette's charity that asked if I wanted to be an ambassador for them, and I said no, fuck off, because you fund animal testing, and I do not want anything I do to result in an animal having anything horrible happen to them. Like, that is so stupid. Like, I would rather have Tourette's for the rest of my life and there be no fucking cure than fund people to do horrendous, life ruining shit to animals. It's not their fault I have Tourette's. Fuck that. Should I feel bad about not praising my fiance for doing their daily duties around the house? Asking because I do not expect praise from doing adult responsibilities of owning a home. Mm, I would say no. If your partner is looking for praise and acknowledgement for doing basic things around the house, then you should say, like, okay, if you want that, if you want to start implementing that, then we need to sit together at like 5 p.m. every single day, and you need to praise me for every single thing that I've done around the house, and I need to praise you for everything that you've done around the house, and we can trial that for a week. And you can set an alarm. It'll just make a point. Let's it could just be something to make a point, right? And at 5 p.m. you get together and it's like, did you notice anything about the house? And then they actually have to look around and realize how much the fuck you did. Um, I think that might be helpful if you're both doing housework and only one of you is asking for praise. But I think, if it's a situation where, like, one of you works and the other is doing loads of stuff around the house, and the one who works is like, "You don't even do anything! You just sit around all day and do nothing," and they're like, "You don't understand anything I do, and you don't appreciate anything I do," and it's like, "Why would I appreciate you doing the bare fucking minimum?" I think that's different. I think you've divided the labor and then made half of the labor of human existence completely worthless and therefore made your partner feel completely worthless. And in that situation, I do think thanking them and going, thanks for doing the dishes, honey, is totally in order. I think, like, if you do none of the housework, then appreciation is due. If you're both doing the housework equally, I don't know why that would need to be a thing. Bitch! Treats, please. Okay, okay, okay. Thanks for the reminder. Bunnies. Okay, you see the bunnies? They're gonna get their treats now. And we happy? Are we singing? Are we so happy about this? Come on, camera, you can do it. Oh, don't worry, I can put it back up right because that knocked it over. Oh, you see? Do you want your second one? Bunnies can't count to two. He knows that they can count to 5. He's annoyed. He's flicking his ears because he's like, why didn't you just give it to me? Why are you being weird? That got positioning in front of the camera so they can vicariously enjoy the trip with you. It's your career. You have a streaming career, Bunny. You have to pay your daily duties. This is your work. I love their little ears. They're pointy little ears. They never save food for later. Well, my bunnies don't really need to. They have constant access to food. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. Look how round he is from behind. Look at this absolute ball. Look at this unit. This ball. Mm. Mm. I have 4 dicks. I love how I didn't know that this was a fucking command that you can find out what bunnies I have from a command. That's pretty cool, right? But I will say, I love how Oscar is just ginger. He's not a lion head, he's just ginger. Work is making me into a functional alcoholic and AI can't stop. It's easier to count days without alcohol than drinking days. It's really demanding and responsible job. How do I ease up? Oh, and I can't stop, not AI can't stop. Oh, there we go. Work is making me a functional alcoholic. I would if it's hurting your health to be in this job and you are actively having to resist negative behaviors in order to cope with this job, that is your body signaling to you that you are not in the right fucking job. Nobody, it's not your career. This is not your life path if you're having to drink to deal with it. So I would say 2 things. First, go to therapy because you need to find better coping mechanisms for stress than alcohol. And at some point, you lost the skill set to do what like the average healthy person does when they are unhappy or uncomfortable. And like usually that is flexibility and change. Part of that is like being able to notice when something isn't right for you. And instead of just getting drunk and forcing yourself down that path, you need to go, maybe another path is in order. And like that is a skill set. Having the wherewithal to notice like when you're coping with your life rather than actually looking forward to enjoying your life, feeling fulfilled with your life, that is a skill set. But it's not just about just change your career, forehead. That's not simple. You don't have to just quit your job tomorrow and then go dangle loosely above the jaws of poverty and just hope that another job offer sweeps you out of its maws. Like you can literally go job hunting whilst you're working. You know, if you're having a poop break or whatever and you're on the loo, instead of doom scrolling, look for other jobs. And it might be your workplace, it might be the people you're working with, or it might be the job itself. And you need to isolate those 2 things because, like, what's really awesome is if you like your work, you just don't like your environment and your job here, then going to another workplace is a really good idea because you can ask them, you can be like, my current pay is this. So I'm looking, to, match my pay essentially. And then you just either exaggerate your pay or you just go like, I'm looking for something in the ballpark of this pay. to be tempted to leave my current place. And then when they make an offer for you, you go to your current job and you go, I've just got an offer to do the same job for more money. So you can either pay me more to keep me, or you're going to have to figure out how to replace me in a month. Right. And I feel like that's a really powerful position to be in. So like there is ways to wrangle this to your advantage, whether you decide to take a whole new path or stay in your line of work, just find better people to work with. That's great advice, by the way. I don't know how I come up with it. I've never had a formal job in my life. Nobody has ever employed me except me. I used to run my own business before I started streaming, and then streaming, I was essentially taking a pay cut to do my job because I could make several times as much money just sitting here playing computer games and talking to people, which is so fun. Or I could get paid way less to sit in an office and sort through stock and send it to people and stuff, right? And that was just like a no-brainer. Like at that point, I was paying to go to work because I was losing money to go to work. So that was quite a cool transition. I've I've heard that if you have problems in life, when you move to another city or another country, you will always carry the problems with you. Yeah, usually the life you've built for yourself is a reflection of who you are to some extent. And so you can't usually run from those problems and just reinvent yourself and it be fine. Usually. There are weird exceptions, and everyone thinks that they're going to be an exception, but most people statistically aren't. So, 9 times out of 10, if you're an obnoxious person and everything falls apart around you, you try to run away, you just bring your obnoxiousness to a new place and people start to hate you there too. So um I do think that running isn't always the answer, but you never know. Sometimes dropping the people around you is a good idea. Sometimes the other people are the problem. So it takes some judgment to figure out. Also, there was like that serial killer. I don't know if you know about him, but he murdered his wife and family horrendously. And then he just disappeared and left and started a whole new life and a whole new family. And he wasn't caught. He spent the rest of his life, he died of old age before anyone figured out that he was a killer. So. Anita, my girlfriend and I are splitting up. She cheated. It's over, but she wants me to call and to make amends with her. Wait, she wants to call to make amends, rest her conscience because she says that she feels guilt. I'm over it, and part of me wants her to let her deal with her guilt on her own. Looking for a woman's perspective, am I being petty, or is it justified to just let her deal with it herself, or should I just end it on a good note? Bossy, you owe this absolute asshole absolutely zero. Fuck her. You should don't do that. I think that we've moved past that stage. That stage is over. Fuck off. I feel like you should do whatever makes you feel comfortable and feels best for you. And if you don't want to have another phone call with her, if you're done talking to her, that is absolutely your right. You owe her nothing. You owe her absolutely nothing. Not even an uncomfortable conversation, just to hear her offload. Like she's doing it for her benefit, not for yours, you know? And like you don't have to benefit her anymore. She cheated on you. Absolutely. And if you're like, you live with your actions, don't try and lighten your burden with me. Like, don't try to offset your guilt onto me for your own fucking actions. Then that's perfectly fair. That is absolutely a legit answer. Like, if you wanted to have the conversation, you're like, I don't want to hate you for the rest of my life. Let's talk this out so I can release some feelings. If it was for you, then yeah, it'd be justified. But the fact that it's for her, it's for the person who did you dirty? No. No. Like, I personally would just be like, "I appreciate that you would like to make amends, but at this point, I don't believe that it is possible or that it would benefit me in any way to hear anything else you have to say." There isn't any level of remorse, there isn't any level of guilt, there isn't any level of apology that will ever lessen the harm you've already did. So as much as I appreciate the offer, I think that it would be more for your benefit than for mine, and at this stage, I do not feel comfortable talking to you, and I don't feel like I owe you that conversation. I hope you can understand. Have the life you deserve. How to get a woman to understand that the problem is her and not me. You walk away. Like, if the problem is them and not you, you do not sit there and explain to them and try to make them understand or try to understand them. You walk away. If someone is an endless drain and they will not take feedback, that is a lack of respect. So, like, normally we as humans, we know when we're like mentally healthy and stuff that we have flaws and we're not going to get everything right, and that sometimes we're going to accidentally hurt people, or sometimes we're going to be misunderstood, or sometimes we're just going to behave in stupid ways and we're going to have to learn to change. Like, that is a part of being human. Every adult has to go through this. And if somebody is like, no, I'm never wrong, I'm not in the wrong, fuck you, they don't care about how they've impacted you at all. All they care about is protecting their like internal view of themselves, their ego. So it's like, if a snake bites you in the jungle, do chase after the snake and say, "Come back. We need to talk about this. I need to understand why you did this. You need to understand why you bit me. You need to learn never to bite people again." Or do you just leave the snake alone and go to the fucking hospital and go and heal? I feel like when you encounter people that you know are not going to change and have already decided that they will not hear any feedback, there is nothing constructive here to be done. Just remove yourself from the situation. People like that isolate themselves. People who refuse to learn and take accountability are slowly consumed by their own like inner beast. Like, the worst parts of them destroy them, grow and destroy them. They have grown comfortable being a dysfunctional human being. And so, like, you don't make people understand that they are the problem. You just leave the problem behind. You just distance yourself from the danger. That's what you do. People who refuse to grow die alone. How do I lock in? I'm just too distracted in life. I know I need to study, apply for jobs, and be more consistent, but I'm running away from my responsibilities. How do I change and what am I missing? Please help. Okay. So for me, understanding how my brain does work allowed me to compensate for the ways that it doesn't work. I have ADHD, but it's quite often it comes along with Tourette syndrome. Like, people with Tourette syndrome very, very often have ADHD because they have an underactivity of a certain part of the brain. This means I can't focus, I can't organize myself, I have poor self-restraint, I'm incredibly impulsive, and it's very, very hard to knuckle down and get work done. And so I've researched what I do in these situations based on how other people have found success. But long before I do that now, but I didn't have that resource when I was younger. So the first coping mechanism I developed was, whatever I feel like doing, I'm going to make that benefit me so that I can enjoy life. And life isn't me just constantly resisting my own discomfort, because I don't want that to be my life. I don't want to be forcing myself to go to work. I want to enjoy going to work. So I made things I enjoy my work, right? And I want to eat healthy, but I don't want to eat all this crap that people keep recommending to me because I don't like any of that. So what I did slowly was I ate unhealthy, and then I found one meal that I really liked that just happened to be healthy but tasted really fucking good. And slowly over time, I found another meal, and I ate both of those very frequently. And then I found another meal, and now I'm eating 3 meals a week that are really, really good. And I just slowly expanded it that way towards things that I actually want. And so, like, I just had to redress everything that I wanted in life through a channel of all the things I wanted to do to get there. So it's like, I want to earn a living. I don't want to be homeless. I want to feel safe and warm and comfortable and have food. Okay, so I'm going to have to get a job. But jobs are really hard, and I don't understand time, and I'm never going to be on time. And if I get bored, I'm never going to be able to will myself to do any of this stuff. What the fuck do I do? So I looked around at all the things I like doing, and I made them my job. That's what I did. Um, and people will sit there and go, no, everybody has that option. No, everybody has that option to some degree. Everybody has that fucking option. It just looks different for everybody. Okay? It just looks different for everybody. Do all people with Tourette's also have ADHD? No, but a lot of us do. Like, the percentage of overlap is extremely high. I'm married and feel like I can't give what my spouse needs. What do I need to do to find that switch to turn on and be there for them? That is such a broad question. There could be a million reasons why you aren't there for your wife. I don't even know how you're not there for the wife. Are you not there for them? I'm even saying wife. I don't even know if it's a wife. But like, I are you not there for them emotionally, sexually? Are you not there for them? Are you just not physically present? Are you working all day? Like, are you just not able to hold a conversation? Like, what is lacking? What is she even complaining about? Because to be honest with you, that question can have so many different origins. You might need therapy. You might have had parents who just weren't there for you and you just lack the tools. You just don't know what that looks like, right? Nobody ever hugged you when you cried, so you don't know how to hug someone else when they cry without it being forced and awkward and weird, right? It might be that, or it might be that you resent your partner and really, really don't like them, or you're not with them for the right reasons. And so feeling close to them feels dirty, like you're disrespecting yourself because it's a performance and you're not a fake person. And so you're in this fake relationship and you don't want to fake feelings. Or maybe you aren't there for them because of a resentment. Like maybe they cheated on you, maybe they fucked you over, or maybe it's a completely unjustified and petty resentment, but you can't let it go. And in that situation, you're just like, why should I comfort you when you're being a piece of shit? You know, there could be 1,000 reasons why you aren't there for them, and I can't identify it just by like, I can't go, "Well, maybe you should talk about your feelings with your partner. Maybe you should hold a birthday party for them." Like, I don't know what your partner's complaining about. I don't know what's missing. I don't know whether you love them. I don't know whether you wanna be there. Like, the fact that you're asking me how to fix it, it could be that you genuinely love them and you wanna be there for them because they deserve to have a good partner, or it could be that you wanna fix it because you just want the status quo back and you wanna be comfortable again. Like, this is too broad a question for me to fix for you. This is the kind of question you ask a therapist, right? Quite often, we are raising ourselves all alone. We are our own parent. And then you go to therapy when you haven't been able to parent yourself out of this behavior. And so a therapist can help you discover a new technique to manage the situation because all the techniques you have right now aren't working. Any tactics for managing a hyperactive brain? Absolutely. You don't manage a hyperactive brain, you utilize it. Most people suffer from an underactive brain. Most people have barely any activity going on in there. You ask them, hey, what you thinking? And they're like, nothing. And literally, if you heard their thoughts, it would just be as they stare into space, right? And you have a very active brain. Your brain has loads of calories going on. It's wanting to do loads of shit. And all you have to do is weaponize that bitch. Look at me. Use that brain. Use it and go do all the activities it wills you to do. Because most people are not yearning for experiences and stimulation, and you are. So your life is going to be jam packed. Just indulge it. Indulge it. If you are not presently able to indulge a hyperactive brain, it's because you're in the wrong environment and everything else is running at a pace that you are not. And you shouldn't have to slow down. You just need to find a speedier corner of existence. Stop being wherever they taught you that your brain is a burden. It is a cheat code. Wield it, bitch. It is a innate biological advantage. Hey Anita, I've been diagnosed with social anxiety, but for the first time, I'm ready to beat it. As someone learning how to be social for the first time, what would your advice be? You're going to be uncomfortable, Irish Wolf, and you have to embrace the discomfort. You have to embrace the fact that learning how to be social is embarrassing and that one of the things that I wish I could tell my former self, because I had to learn how to be social very, very late. I was diagnosed with a social phobia at age like 9, and I never really stopped having social anxiety until like my mid to late 20s. So quick tip, you're supposed to feel a little bit nervous in social situations. That is an instinct. That is your nature. We as humans put a lot of value in our social hierarchies because they are survival to us. We are a social animal. You know, we have been for over 1,000,000 years at least, been a very social, collaborative species. So, how you value to others is a high stakes game for us. It is survival. And so, like most human beings, even if they don't have social anxiety, get a little bit nervous about some interactions, or a little bit embarrassed about some interactions, or a bit self conscious about some interactions. It's not that it's not normal to feel what you feel, it's that it's not normal for it to be so big and so over encompassing that you can't get on with it anymore. It's like most people get this a little bit, and you're supposed to too. It's not unhealthy, it's just, overgrown, you know? You're just experiencing a bit more of it than most. And what's gonna happen is you're gonna have to slowly wear away at the thought patterns that make it so scary, that completely distort how terrifying this interaction is. And that will happen over time as you make friends, even though you're uncomfortable, even though you're scared, even though you're nervous, even though you're sweating, even though you don't know what to say to that. You know, even though you're not getting every interaction right, you're gonna have clumsy, awkward interactions, and that's okay. And I am friends with some people who are clumsy and awkward in their social interactions, and I love them. And I've known them for many, many years, and I hope I do for the rest of my life, and I'm fine with them. And I think, like, you will have to just be at peace with this what comes with growing pains, and it's gonna be uncomfy for a while. And hopefully, as you make some friends who are totally fine with you not knowing how to deal with certain things, right, you will realize some stuff. You'll realize that, you know, when you have friends, you completely forgive them for things that you don't forgive yourself for. You know, you don't lie awake laughing or cringing at other people's mistakes, you forget them. You're only laying there cringing about your own, and nobody else remembers it, and nobody else cares. These things will be very quickly forgotten and are not as life changing or crucial as your brain is making them out to be. Soon you'll be way less self obsessed, and the more you're able to focus on other people and what they have to say, the less you will be listening to your inner monologue constantly complaining and talking about yourself. Going, you look weird. You didn't say that right. You're not funny. Why are you here? You're an outsider. Like that voice will get quieter the more you pay attention to other people. Use your thoughts less selfishly, and the anxiety will shrink slowly over time. And it won't be a linear, like progressively get more confident. It will be a zigzag where you will have some wins and some really big not wins. And it will not always feel like progress, but I promise you it is. Thank you. My biggest kryptonite is overthinking, but I'm learning to control it and when to trust it. I'm truly in a great place. Thank you again. Good. I bet things are really going to open up for you. This life is going to be amazing from here. So I've been having issues with staying with staying on track with my weight loss. I lost a recent amount in a year in Spain, a year span, but now it's plateauing for 2 to 3 months, and I've gotten to a stage where I need to actually put in the work, but it feels difficult to me. Any tips or advice? I technically know the steps I need to take, but actually doing them is the issue. Rebrand them then. Rebrand them. Okay? So if your barrier is like, I know I need to exercise, but I'm not actually exercising, fine. Maybe it's time to get a dog, you know? Because a dog will take you on a walk. Everyone says they have to take their dog on a walk. No, your dog takes you on a walk. Maybe, like, instead of going, I know I need to eat less, maybe you can eat more, but it technically be less. I've seen people make these big ass, massive bowls of really delicious food that like feels crunchy, satisfying, filling, but it's actually less calories. So maybe you could be technically eating more instead of less, like physically, but still technically be eating less. Maybe you need to rebrand your strategy to be something that you personally can maintain and don't have to motivate yourself for. Uh-uh. So that like I feel like it's a difficulty setting thing. Like you need to enjoy the game. You only get to play this game once, you only get one life, and then you never get to play this game again. And so, like, if your goals are making you hate your life and have to will yourself forward, that's a sign that that's not where you're supposed to be. You need something you can maintain and look forward to. So, if you change your diet, change it to things that you love but are better for you. Like, I did that with mango pieces. I used to have loads of chocolate bars in my cupboard. And I switched them out with healthier snacks that I actually enjoy. Not healthier snacks, ones that I look forward to and actually enjoy. That's the crucial part. Like, you have to love your life. So find a way to love being skinnier. So if you're not doing the exercise, find a fun version of it. Maybe for you it's VR, or maybe for you it's going to the local tennis court with a friend. Maybe for you it's climbing, or maybe for you it's photography or bird watching, because you have to walk out into the bum ass middle of fucking nowhere to get the best view of the birds. And so you're getting exercise and you're not even thinking about the exercise. You're thinking about that bird. You're thinking about that tail feather, right? And so you just need to find a way to do the things you've always wanted to do, but in a way that you fucking enjoy. You're missing the joy. The joy will make it happen without you even meaning it to. I think the biggest mistake people make when they try to change something about themselves is that the reason why you are the way you currently are is because you don't have to try to be this way, right? Like, you're eating this way because it tastes good, you're drinking this way because it feels good, you're sedentary like this because it feels nice, because it feels right. So you need to find that comfort and joy in a different life. Yeah, if you lack motivation, find the joy instead. I need help. I pooed myself laughing. Well, after you have a shower, sweetheart, just know that there are multiple channels where you can do Kegel exercises, which maximize your pelvic floor, which can help with things. And go and call a doctor and be like, yeah, things ain't holding things the way I maybe should usually, and have a little chat with them. And make sure you're all prepped and clean because they might want to have a little bit of a rummage in you. They might want to look around. Suddenly I get your stream notification, a pleasant surprise. Hello. Yeah, I welcome. I haven't been streaming on YouTube for very long, but I've been streaming for many, many years, 8 years, just not on YouTube. But welcome in. My wife has BPD undiagnosed and it's killing me. I want to run, but she's trying her best. I feel like maybe many people have partners who have BPD, and that you might be able to find Reddit forums and like just places on the internet where people are dealing with relationships with BPD. If you genuinely want to stay, right, then it's worth finding out how other people handle this and manage it, and maybe finding a therapist who can guide you through it. If it's ruining your life, you only get one and nobody gets to pull dibs. You don't have to just give your entire life to someone just to be fair to them, just to spare their feelings. Because what about your feelings? If you feel like an asshole for breaking up with someone because they're ruining your life, then why don't you feel like an asshole for deprioritizing and ruining your life? Like, why are you happy to victimize yourself? Um, so like, you need to make a commitment and a choice. Is this something that you are willing to go through with your partner for them? Are they worth the lows? And if they're not, you need to go and find a life that makes you happy, a life that you look forward to, because we all deserve that. I love getting drunk and appreciating life. How do I keep that feeling going without alcohol? Um, you try stuff, not drugs, but you try stuff like you go climbing, you go to a martial arts club, you go to a music festival, You go on a million and one adventures, you try a new game, you try new things consistently until you find something that you can't stop thinking about and you can't wait to do again. And when you start finding those things, and hopefully you find multiples of them, you won't need to embellish your life by adjusting your mind anymore. You don't have to turn up the internal dial to enjoy sittings because the world is already full of joy. Like, that's how you do it. You go try stuff. Do you have any tips for online dating? I find chat exhilarating. I get that sinking feeling when I think about matching someone on a dating site and then talking to them, leading the conversation. So you like chatting, but you don't like leading the conversation? Is that what you're saying? Because like I feel like one of the things you need to isolate is fuck off. Why tiny dick? Why do you like online dating? Because some people don't actually like it because they want to date. They like it because they're getting a lot of their emotional needs met. They're feeling desired, they're getting attention, they are getting an interaction, but they're not necessarily interested in dating. So like if there's aspects of this that are appealing to you beyond just getting a date and meeting someone in person one day, that is a need that you're seeking, and it might not be the best way to get your needs met. That's the one of the things. So like isolate why are you there? Um, and then like which parts you're struggling with. I don't do online dating. It's not my preferred methods. I'm not an online dating expert at all. However, however, I do know that there are people online who have gone through all of this and have tricks and tips and things that make that easier for them. And I would start there, absolutely. But I can't online date, in part because I'm a streamer and I'm fairly well known. So like I do get banned off these platforms for impersonating myself. So unfortunately, I'm the last person that you should be asked. I used to hear it happening to other people, and I was like, "Isn't that funny?" And then it happened to me, and I was like, "It's not funny." Fuck. I've just broke up with my girlfriend of 5 years. I feel destroyed. I feel better listening to you. Do you have any advice? Yeah, not every relationship has to last forever for it to be really fucking important and defining. It's beautiful to be loved. It's not beautiful to be loved because you're supposed to date because of how long it lasts. Just remember that. So it's awesome that you figured out that it doesn't work for you anymore and you stepped away. That is so important. And that is a huge skill. Um, but it hurts. And like throughout the rest of your life, you are going to have people that fall away from your life. That is natural. Most people will not be from birth to death just with you your whole life. That's just not realistic, right? And if you find breakups really painful, my biggest advice, don't delete the photos. Don't let your new partner delete the photos either. Keep the photos. I mean, maybe don't hang a picture of your ex's tits on the wall, but like keep the photos somewhere in on a drive or in like in a cloud or like in a shoebox under the bed somewhere, right? Because one day when you're old, you're gonna want to look back on your life. And if you had like multiple like 5, 10, 20 year relationships, whatever, right? Then if you erase them, you erase those 20 years to never look back on again, to barely remember the details. And your life goes by much faster when you're constantly erasing the past because it's hard to look back and feel the passing of time when you look back in your memory. Your brain doesn't store the actual feeling of the time passing, just keynotes, just moments, right? So you will blink and be 89 in an old folks' home if you barely remember any of it. And so don't delete the memories. You're going to collaborate on your life with a bunch of people that one day you're not going to feel the same about anymore. Not just partners, friends, family, just all sorts of people, co-workers, acquaintances, all sorts, right? And if you, every time you dislike them, try to delete them because it's painful to look at them now, one day you'll wish you remembered. One day you'll be over it and not even give a shit about all that stuff that happened. It will be, the feeling of pain will be gone. And all you'll be left with is a void where all of the holidays you went on are gone. All of the memories you made together are gone. The pets that you looked after and loved are gone because, your ex was in those photos. And that's so stupid. One day the pain will pass and you will want the memories. Do not delete them. But maybe delete their number for now so that you don't, on and off again because that's stupid. But like, delete their number, but not the pictures. Don't delete the memories. And hold on to how they made you feel when it was good, when it's time. Now it's painful to remember that, but one day you're going to want to remember how amazing it was to be loved, to be young, to go on adventures, to go have fun. To all of those things will be a beautiful memory one day. They're just not for now. So don't distort that memory. Don't go back and revise history and exaggerate all the bad things about them just to feel better about leaving, just to justify yourself. Because what you'll do is you'll turn those 5 years into a regret instead of a beautiful transition through someone's life, where you, for a short time, collaborated on existence, but it didn't fit forever, and that's okay. For sure, delete their nudes. Oh, absolutely. I think don't keep anyone's nudes ever. I think that's so fucking important. Do not keep people's nudes. If you break up, delete the nudes. How do you have fair expectations from yourself, if it makes sense? I feel like internally I want way too much of myself, and sometimes the stress makes me just not do shit, even if it's a thing I love. Oh yeah, like okay. So having compassion for yourself as a human being is really challenging, and there's loads of different ways to go about it. Fuck off, wank on a spoon. I mean, you could try that, but for me, like there was a therapist who said, like, you have an inner child. There is a smaller version of you. That little person is still there with you. Who you were as a kid, you grew in layers, onion layers, and your childhood version is still there in you with you, right? And what I want you to do is look at them and care for them like a parent. So if the inner part of you really wants to play computer games, make sure there's a time of the week where you get to play computer games. If the little version of you always wanted to be a sailor, it's time to start saving up for that boat, right? And then what you do is when you make lists and aspirations, you break them up into manageable pieces. Where it's like, I can still have free time. I can still love my life. Make sure those chunks are in place first. And then go, okay, how do I slot little inches towards the things I want in between them? And you make compassionate lists that are not too big and chunky, not too big in expectation. They have three major things that you need to get done today, and the rest can be fun. Okay? So if you break it up like that and you take care of yourself, you build a life for this kid that you're going to be raising for the rest of your life. This kid. Make sure that kid is provided for. You provide for their future. You provide for their present. And you do a compassion-based system. And when you find yourself judging yourself, think, if I had a friend who came to me with all those issues, would I be calling them names, calling them lazy, getting mad and frustrated with them? Because if not, then why the fuck are you doing it to you? Okay, you are your friend. And if you are your own worst enemy, you will destroy yourself before you die. You will aggressively scrub away all of your aspirations. You will scrub away all of your joy in life. You will sacrifice everything you give a shit about and then hate yourself at the end because you never became anything that you wanted to be. You will be endlessly judging and sidelining and deprioritizing yourself for the rest of your life. But if you decide to be your friend and to be a loving parent and a brilliant friend, right? And maybe even an awesome lover to yourself too. I don't care. Throw that in, right? Be the best person you can for yourself. Show up for yourself. Like, talk to yourself as a friend. Support yourself. And that is a really hard skill to grow and nurture. Therapist can help with that. That is absolutely something you can go to a therapist for. That exact sentence, you could go to a therapist and say that, and they would work with you. I've done work with that, like that, with a therapist. Um, so you don't have to do it alone. You absolutely don't have to do it alone. But I think it's time to start working with yourself compassionately. Because if you want and expect lots of things of yourself, it's because you see your fucking potential. That is you going, this could be better. We could be better. We could totally be better. And that normally should be exciting, not a form of bullying. You are being an overbearing helicopter mom. But like, you could be a supportive mother to yourself. How'd you find a good therapist that resonates with you but challenges you as well? You try one, and then if you don't make much progress with them, you try another. Like, I would say a good amount of time to check in it is 6 months, because therapy usually feels a bit shit and doesn't have a linear stages of progress at first. But if you're looking back after 6 months and going, "This isn't going anywhere, this isn't right for me," then do it. Change. Because, like, there is no way to, like, just set out a it's not like a dating profile where it's like, "Hey, I'm Jim, and I'm a little bit broken. Sometimes I beat my ex-partners, and I wanna get out of that, and I wanna drop the drink, but I really don't like criticism, so you have to talk to me gently and coax realizations out of me because my ego is definitely gonna get in the way." Like, you can't make a profile for that. The right therapist isn't gonna come and find you. You just have to try a few until one really works. How do I quit porn? Porn is, like, one of those really challenging things because for years people were debating whether or not you could even get addicted to it, which is insane because of course you can get addicted to it. You can get addicted to anything. There's a person who's addicted to eating used nappies. You can get addicted to anything. Of course you can get addicted to porn. Um, but if you're getting addicted to porn, I would say there are multiple support groups out there. The ones that center around masculinity are going to fuck you over. This is not a masculine problem. Women get porn addiction too. It's not your manhood that is being threatened by this. It is your existence and your humanity that is being threatened by this. So, going to the gym more and trying to save your sperm and not masturbate to be more testosterone rich and shit like that, that is made up pseudoscience. And it will take you down an incel path into a community that will just fuck you harder. Okay. I think that if you do seek support from places like NoFap and things like that, there are places online where people have gathered together who have porn addictions and they have accountability partners, they have step-by-step routines, they've found things that work for them, things that don't, things that keep them successful. And I feel like those environments are really, really good so long as they're not like dude bruh pickup artist hyper masculine places. You should be collaborating with people on this. But yeah, porn addiction is really fucking hard to get out of. It's a big, big challenge, and there are people who have absolutely ruined their lives over porn. I used to be an accountability partner for people with porn addictions. I don't do that anymore, but like because I've never been addicted to porn, I found myself finding it really, really easy to be helpful to people. Um, and like I got all into it because I had an ex who was like addicted to porn, and it destroyed our relationship and kind of destroyed him. And so I really was like very hurt and angry about the whole porn industry and wanted to help people get out of it. And I wanted to understand how people fall into it. And I think that helped me overall because I was like, why am I less important than porn? Like that really hurt my self-esteem until I understood what the issue was. And then I stopped making it about me, which really released me from a lot of like self-esteem issues after it, but also allowed me to channel all of my rage and anger about everything that happened into something productive and beautiful for the world, which was helping people get over it for a little bit. And like, yeah, it was really beneficial. Um, but it made me very familiar with the spaces where people are working to help people with porn addiction. And I think like there's books on it, there's YouTube videos on it, there's Reddit places where people get together and talk to each other and support each other. There's places to get tips and support, and you should definitely be doing that. Don't face this alone. It's a really challenging thing to deal with. Definitely don't do it alone. How do I quit tipping streamers? Oh no, Savernova, don't do that. That would be terrible. Maybe don't. Maybe if anything, you could tip more. No, like I feel like if you are over tipping and over giving to people, you're no longer being generous. You're just robbing yourself. So what you should do is, I knew a guy who would be too generous sometimes, and when people would ask him for money and help on the street, he would give them more than he could afford. Um, because he's lovely. But what this was causing was sometimes he wouldn't be able to afford his rent, or sometimes he would just do it too much and then not be able to afford his food and basic things that were important. So what he did was I learned this from him, and I really want anyone who's being too generous to definitely hear this advice. What he did was he calculated how much money he's making, how much money he could comfortably needs, and then he set aside a small wallet of a budget to give because he enjoyed giving and he didn't want to destroy that part of himself. He didn't want to stop giving to those in need. He just wanted to make sure that he didn't hurt himself in the process. So what he did was he set aside a budget, a set amount that he would take out in money, in cash, at the beginning of the month, and that was his entire spending limit for giving to people. And after that, he just has to say no. And that allowed him to give and to indulge the best part of himself without screwing himself over. So if you're asking like, how do I, quit giving so much to streamers? That says to me that you've hit a limit where you're like, this has become destructive to me now. And it's like, okay, how can you fall in love with the best parts of you again? You've got this kind aspect of you. Clearly you enjoy doing it because you're having difficulty stopping. How do you make that activity good for you again? And I think a spending limit is where you start there. I hope that's helpful. How can I get over my unrequited love? I feel like it's just normal and perfectly healthy to fall in love with people, and it's perfectly expected to not always be for that to be not everyone you fancy is gonna fancy you back. And I feel like sitting with the feeling, facing it head on, and letting it pass naturally is just the only way to cope with it. Don't make it weird for them. Don't be mean to them. Don't make it their problem whatsoever. It's entirely your problem. Um, but I feel like just letting the feeling pass naturally and going, "Yeah, I'm supposed to feel this way. It's supposed to suck when people don't like you back." And just taking care of yourself. Have some ice cream. Take a day off work. Do something nice for yourself. Go, "Yeah, I'm feeling shitty, and that's okay. This is an experience that will happen to everyone, and it's supposed to be shit, and I'll be fine. One day I'll fall in love with someone and they'll like me back. It just didn't happen this time. Oh well. That's it. That's all you do." Big thank you so much. I appreciate it. And yes, please do go ahead and run that dono.
One of the scariest things is walking away from an Anita stream because you never know what you're going to hear walking back.
Wank on it. Agreed. You should just stay here forever and never take your eyes off me. That is the solution. Okay? Someone's like, "What prescription are your glasses?" I'm not near far, no, I'm not near or far. I have astigmatism. Um, so I don't really feel like it changes too much. Although actually maybe it does shift things to be closer because um when I when I first put these glasses on and walked out of the optician, I think it was like last year or the year before, I was stomping really hard because I thought the ground was closer to me than it actually was. Like I was stomping out of the optician, just comp, 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 because like that moment where you think there's more stairs than there are. I was experiencing that where you put your foot down really hard because you expect there to be another step. I was doing that with every single step I took because the glasses brought everything up just ever so slightly. So I thought my feet were gonna hit the ground sooner than they did. So maybe it does that as well, but the main reason I have glasses is astigmatism. And like it mostly just kind of changes the angle of everything. That's what it does mostly. Like I feel like when I do this, the main thing that happens is the words on the screen do this a little bit. Do you get headaches when you don't wear them? No. Nothing happens when I don't wear them. Except that like now I can't read the fine print on stuff. And it's funny because when my mom got to this age, like I feel like her eyesight progressed, maybe? I don't know if she always needed glasses or if it just got worse for her, but like I remember when I started having to read all the fine print on things to her so she knew the ingredients of all the food we were buying at the supermarket. And now it's happening to me. Like, I am 36 now, and I am looking at the fine print on stuff and going, I'm having to get my glasses. But, like, I always wondered, why the fuck did my mom just get glasses? But she, like, had a terrible opinion of glasses for some reason. She was like, people who wear glasses are terrible people, and you should never trust them, and they look stupid, and you only trust people who wear contact lenses. I was like, okay. As a kid, I was like, what? Dr. Antisocial, thank you so much for the prime. How do you feel about 40 coming up? I don't really feel anything. So I was lucky enough that a lot of my family and friends were just awesome in their old age, and they were having active love lives, active sex lives. They were reinventing themselves, getting new jobs, getting new qualifications in their 40s and 50s. My granddad just fell in love in his 80s, and is super, super honeymoon period, so in love with his girlfriend, spending all of his time with his girlfriend, barely ever home. And he's just so happy and loving life. And he has like active friends and social life and places to be. And he's just like such a fantastic example. My grandma, his ex-wife, my grandma, like she fell in love and she got married in her 50s, moved to Spain, spent the rest of her life there, happily ever after with the love of her life. Like my mom got 2 degrees. She got her second degree in her 40s, I believe. And, like, I have watched people break up with their partner that they thought they were gonna be with for the rest of their life and start being in love with someone new and help reinvent everything in their 40s and 50s and 60s. So, like, for me, I don't really fear a certain number. And also my mom, she always looked young for her age, and she really relished in that. So, when she was in her 40s, she was still getting ID'd to buy scissors, you know? When she was in the hospital giving birth to me, my dad was younger than her, but they thought he was a predator because they thought he was older than her, so much older than her. Like, the thing is, she has always looked young for her age, always, always, always. And so whenever people go, "How old are you?" she would exaggerate. She'd be like, for the minute she turned 35, she was like, "I'm coming up to 40." That was her coming up to 40. She was coming up to 40 for 5 years. And people were like, "No." Because, like, I would walk past her and be like, Mom, can we get this at the store or whatever?" And people were like, how young were you when you had a kid? Like, are you her mom?" And she'd be like, "Yeah." And they'd be like, "How old are you? What the fuck?" And she'd say her age, and they're like, "What?" The surprised Pikachu face. She fucking loved that shit. So growing up, I didn't watch women be ashamed of their age at all. Like, that was not something I experienced or had ingrained in me. People like, "It's not polite to ask a lady her age." Like, for me, my mom was like, "Go on, ask me my age. Go on. Ask it, bitch." Right? And then she'd say she was older for ages. And, like, when she was in her 50s, she came on my stream, and people were like, "What? That's your mom? What the fuck?" So for me, I don't really see age as like a landmark number that's racing towards you or anything like that. I'm middle-aged. I'm 36. I've probably got through at least half of my age. Both my parents died in their 50s of age-related issues. So it's very, very likely that I will make it to my 50s, early 50s, and I'll be very lucky for every year I get after that. Very fucking lucky, right? And by that token, I'm middle-aged. I've gone through at least half of my life, at least. So, with that said, I'm not, like, afraid or upset with that. I'm like, "Holy shit, this has been crazy." Because like, I did childhood and teenage years on max difficulty setting, and that was really traumatizing and hard. And then my 20s were just kind of like, a grind and tough, but not as tough. And then my 30s have been, like, amazing! Everything about my 30s has been like, "Holy fuck, yes." And I feel like a lot of people get that with their 30s. Like, I feel like 30s is, like, your prime. It's when you know yourself best. It's when you know what you want the best. It's when everything starts falling into place. Your career starts going the best. Everything, right? So for me, and also for women, it's when their sex drive gets the highest. So, like, for me, I feel like 30s is your prime. I'm quite excited to be in my 30s. And I just want to build an awesome 40s. I look at my 40s and I'm like, I hope I'm physically strong and fit. I hope I have hobbies that I look forward to. I hope I have vegetables growing in my garden. I hope I have animals that love me, that I get to love and take care of. I hope I make a bunch of art. I hope I can sustain myself comfortably financially to do all of those things and maybe hang out with some friends. And like, if I have those things, I will like my 40s. I'll enjoy the shit out of my 40s if I have those things. That's all it will take. And that's so achievable. Women have a sex drive. I'm sorry you've never seen it or inspired it, but yes, it exists and it drives women feral. Like, if you've ever seen boy band concerts, loads of girls screaming. There are many artists out there who've had women's underwear thrown at them, who've been smacked in the face by someone's pants. Like, some women be going crazy for it. And it gets higher in your 30s. Like, women are like women their sex drive is like tail end. And I think as well, a lot of women experience a burst before menopause as well. So in their 40s, early 50s sometimes, they'll get like a burst in sex drive too. Some scientists think it's because your body is giving you like a last hurrah, like, come on, this is your last chance to get pregnant. Let's not waste these last eggs, sort of thing, you know? So like there might be a fundamental sexual reason why. Of course, women have a sex drive. Yeah, if anything, we need a sex drive even more than men because we're the ones who risk our lives in pregnancy. Like, men, if you have a high sex drive, it's consequence free. You're not going to die in childbirth, you know? So, women need a much bigger incentive sexually than men do to fuck because the consequences and the stakes are higher. Hey, dear. Thank you so much. You feel like a breath of fresh air. Love the whistle particularly. Thank you. That's so sweet. I appreciate that. Like, YouTube is just another world. Like, the YouTube comments and the YouTube tips have been so fucking wholesome. I'm not slamming you guys on Twitch. Like, you guys are great too. I just kind of feel like people just pay to be nice to you on YouTube. It's so weird. I'm like, what is this? Like, Twitch people just troll me. It's all like dad jokes and gnoming and shit. I'm 33 today and about a decade into this bout of depression. Any advice finding purpose without returning to being an obedient follower in a hope of making a boss or man or woman happy? The boss man / woman happy. I was depressed for most of my life, and I haven't been depressed in like a decade. Like, you do not have to commit to being depressed the rest of your life. It doesn't matter the reason why you're depressed. It could be genetic, it could be biological, it could be neurochemical, it could be environmental, it could be situational, it could be trauma. There is absolutely no form of depression that you have to commit to for the rest of your life. And if the way that your job is affecting you is part of your mental health, then I think it is a matter of survival to find a kind of work that you gel with. And you do not have to work for a boss necessarily in order to have a job and support yourself. It might be time to look into and slowly grow a independent business of your own. If working for other people fucks you up that bad, it's a matter of survival, and you need to start researching how to get started like yesterday. Also, another way, if you're not built for like working for yourself, because that's not for everyone, finding a job that gives you a sense of meaning can be a way to compensate. Like, sometimes no matter how hard a job is or how much it fucked you up, you can still come home satisfied if you fuck your boss, if you fuck your dad, if you definitely um care about what you're achieving and have meaning and purpose. Like if you're saving kids every day, who gives a shit if your boss sucks? Like you're gonna come home with a smile on your face because that kid's got a future now. So like it could be a sense of purpose, or you could like just work for your dick, work for your mom, work for your fucking fat cock. You should fuck. You should fuck. You should work. Maybe you should work for yourself. Hope that helps. Is my bunny giving me a side eye? It's weird. He's used to me. He's used to me saying this stuff. I say it to him all the time. That's why a lot of people with Tourette's like animals, because the animals don't care if you call them a cunt. You know, the treat tastes just the same. I never really felt like I had a future, to be honest. And when I thought I was dying, I wasn't really bothered. I kind of feel like I'm not afraid of death because I feel like all of us are temporary. And I feel like every single one of us um, is really important, even if we did nothing of importance whatsoever. So, like, I already built a piece of universe, whether I tried or not. I'm already an architect of reality, whether I tried or not, whether I did it the way I expected or not. So it was a privilege to be here and be a part of something so important. I'm grateful for every day I got, and I'm lucky I even got to adulthood. Most people who were ever born didn't. So I already got further than most humans could reasonably expect. And I'm happy with that. I'm grateful, not scared of it being over, just overjoyed I get another day. And so, like, I'm pretty fine with death too, but not because I want to die. I'm just at peace with it. I hit a point in my life where I was like, ah, I've experienced a lot, and that's amazing. If I died tomorrow, I'd be like, yeah, I'm really, I feel really good about what I got. And I say that even though I had a really horrible life. But like, uh-uh. I'm just gonna say, every day, like you are here and the world is the way that it is and it's shaped the way it is because of someone 1,000 years ago who led a very mediocre existence. Like maybe they did everything by the book and no one remembers their name and like there's nothing but dust of them now. But because they had a kid and that kid had a kid, like several million people exist today because of that one person's actions and because of that one person surviving and just making it through the day. And you don't have to have a kid for that to be the truth. Like you could just work at Starbucks, for example, and do nothing else with your life and die alone in your apartment with no friends and have a very small funeral. And you could have still contributed enough to the universe that the whole timeline is completely different because of you. You know, just by existing passively, we define the entire future. We are creating the world that everyone gets to experience after us. And so, like, you're important whether you want to be or not. I'm the opposite of a nihilist. I think everything you do, even the things you don't realize are important, like what you ate for breakfast this morning, everything you do is changing the world. Everything you do is restructuring the world forever, the universe forever after this. Nobody is scared of death. People are just scared of dying early. I kind of feel like plenty of people are genuinely scared of death. People get health anxiety over it, and they're terrified that their stomach ache is maybe a heart attack. And like their heart will race over the most minor of symptoms, and they'll Google it and get even more frightened and go to the doctor loads because they're terrified that something will take them out or make them suffer. A lot of people are scared of death itself because they're like, I don't want to suffer. I don't want to, have to go through a horrendous experience. And some people are scared of death because they just don't want to disappear. They don't want to be nothing. They don't want to face the void of nothingness after. Some people find that terrifying. I don't, because basically I didn't exist for most of the existence of the universe and it was fine. So not existing again is going to be a piece of cake because I've existed for longer than I have existed. I'm brilliant. I'm an expert at not existing. It's the thing that I have the most years experience in, technically. How do you create happiness? I think part of it is knowing when you have enough. I've met a lot of content creators who've made a lot of money off content creation, like millions, millions and millions. And they're still like desperately chasing money and like learning how to invest it, learning where to put it, um, trying to get more and more money off their YouTube videos or off their Twitch streams or whatever, right? And I'm like, you have enough money that if you stopped today, you would be set for life. Easy. You could live a life that kings could never even dream of for the rest of your life today if you just quit. And they're like, no, no, because now that I've got enough money for me to retire, I have to make enough money for my parents to retire, for my family to retire, and any health problems that may pop up to create security for them and for their friends. And so every time they were just moving the goalpost over and over and over and over. So what happens is that you just keep thirsting after the money and never really quite feeling satisfied and always still having anxiety about money no matter how comfortable you become. And a lot of rich people fall into this category, right? Because like the average person who's had no money for most of their life, once they get a load of money, they're like, right, the first thing I want to do is never have to work again. And you get these people who work and work for more money because there's never enough. And so if you ask those people, I've met millionaires, you can ask them, are you rich? And they'll go, no, I'm not rich. Even though by most people's perspective they are rich, they do not feel rich because it is not enough. They think they're middle class. I've listened to people who own multiple cars, fancy cars, call themselves middle class. It's delusional. So I think a huge part of happiness is satisfaction, is noticing how much you have and saying when it is enough. And like for as long as you're constantly looking for more options, it will destroy your happiness. That whole comparison is a thief of joy thing, so true. Fuck off. Like fuck off, fat cock. You should fuck. There's like a load of people out there who will forever wonder if their partner is the right partner and what if they chose wrong and what if there's someone else out there that they're more compatible with because they have so much choice. So people who have a lot of offers find it much harder to settle down and be confident and comfortable and happy and satisfied with their partner just because they have so many options and they don't know if they picked right. And we've done experiments to prove this. Like people are happier with a gift that they get for participating in a study if they didn't get to choose it. So you get to choose a painting at the end of the study as a gift. And then another group, they do the same. They participate in the same study, and it's like, here, we just want to give you this picture as a reward for doing the thing. And so the people who were just given a picture and did not get to choose, when they were checked in on and a year later, and they're like, hey, do you still like how satisfied are you on a scale of 1 to 10 with your little painting? They're like, 10. I love my painting. It's a really cool painting. I still have it on the wall. The people who got to choose out of sort of several paintings were like, it's okay. I'd rate it like a 5 out of 10. It's an okay painting. Like the people who got to choose were less satisfied. And so a lot of like your happiness and joy in what you get, because both of them got a free painting. Both groups got a free painting. But how happy they were with it was a mindset that was influenced by so many other things. And you can influence your mindset. So, like, for me, I have like this, I write in it every single day. You see that? One line a day. So, like, it has multiple, every single day is like, say, the 27th of July. It has 5 little blocks in it. And the first year I write in the top block, the second year I write in the second block, the third year I write in the fourth block for 5 years, right? And what this means is as I go through it and I write in it the second year, I'm seeing memories from last year. I'm seeing things I appreciate about my existence. I'm seeing the parallels and the things that are still going well, the things that improved. I'm seeing the things that I hoped for back then and seeing that I have them now. And I'm like, wow. And I'm feeling a sense of progress and joy and contentment from this book. And all of these things would have happened either way, but I feel like I'm more satisfied with them because I'm getting to look at them and getting to appreciate them and be thankful and grateful for them. It's such a nice idea. It feels so good. I love it, right? But it reinvents your reality because you start looking for things to write about at the end of the day. You look for a positive thing to put in the book. And like when I released my butterflies that I took in last year to protect them, and they flew off and they had their lives, I was like, I can't wait to write my book about this. I'm so happy that this happened, you know? And like I might have forgotten about these little moments before, but now I get to look at them and be happy with them and to, like, genuinely take note of, like, how much is going well, even when things are hard, even when things are horrible. But, like, the caterpillars are coming out again, so I have this weed growing everywhere called ragwort. And there's this cinnabar moth that's really pretty. It's like red and black, and it lives on there. And it has this beautiful caterpillars, these stripy black and orange caterpillars. And I noticed them all in the sun eating the plant. And I look at them just because they're fat and cute and stripy. And then I started to notice that they ate the plant, and then they were all scattered everywhere, and they were lost. So I went and I did loads of research. I was like, "Fuck, what did they eat? Like, what do I do? They're out in the sun. Are they going to be okay?" Um, and it said that they eat the plant to death, and then quite often there isn't enough plant to like keep them all alive. So they eat each other to death, and then the few that survive that Hunger Games stage get to be little chrysalises, and those chrysalises are at the base of the root of the plant they ate away because it will regrow next year. And so they'll hatch there and they'll lay their eggs on it, and the whole Hunger Games will start again. Yeah, so, like, that is, something I was like, "Wow, I know this is nature, and it will happen millions of times without my supervision, and there's nothing I can really do about it, but I can spare these particular caterpillars the Hunger Games. None of these ones will have to be eaten alive." So what I did was I took them in, and the plant, rather than them all eating the plant to death, I would take one leaf off the plant a day, and that was sustainable. The plant could survive this. Right? So the plant gets to live and not be eaten to death, and all of the caterpillars get their fill every day without running out and having to eat each other because the plant lives for longer, right? So I did that for them, and they turned into little chrysalises, and I thought they didn't survive. I thought, oh, it's too dry. I didn't know that you had to keep their environment a little bit moist, and I didn't know how to do that best. So I started doing that like maybe a couple of months after I'd already started keeping their little chrysalises. Um, and I thought, fuck. But I kept them and I took care of it for a year anyway, right? And they hatched. I'm so glad I didn't give up. Um, and now the caterpillars are on the weeds again. So I'm thinking about taking them in because I could do it better this year. Fucking. Does Tourette's make you act on your intrusive thoughts? No, that's not how Tourette's works. It's not intrusive thoughts. I feel like a lot of people just don't understand what intrusive thoughts are, but no, it's not intrusive. I'm not intrusively fucking racist, faggot. I'm not or homophobic, bitch. I like these aren't intrusive thoughts. Fuck off. Do your intrusive thoughts make you act on your Tourette's? I don't really feel like I get intrusive thoughts. I do get, well, maybe I do. Actually, no, I do. But I get it because of OCD. So intrusive thoughts are different from impulsive thoughts. Impulsive thoughts are things that you want to do, but restrain yourself from doing. Like it would be impulsive to eat an entire cake. You'd enjoy it. You'd like to eat the cake, but you won't. That would be impulsive, right? And so intrusive thoughts are things that you find horrendous and never want to do. But your brain makes you think of it, and it brings you no pleasure, and you don't have to resist doing it at all. So an intrusive thought might be press 1 if you've ever stood near something high up and your brain has thought jump. even though you don't want to jump. You don't want to die, and you'd be terrified if you did jump. And the thought of jumping is like, ah, but your brain goes jump, and then it imagines jumping off anyway. Like you hold your cousin's baby, and you're like, oh, what a cute baby, and your brain goes throw it against the wall, and you're like, ah, because you don't want to do that, and the thought of it makes you want to cry, and like your brain visualizes it, and you're like, ah. So it's not like a bitch, it's not like a dick, it's not like a impulsive thought. It's not something that's like you have to resist doing. Like, oh, it would be impulsive to have another drink of alcohol when I'm already so drunk. That's impulsive. Intrusive is wipe your ass with sandpaper. Go on. And you're like, no! And your brain's making you picture it anyway, and you're like, ah, stop it, brain. That's intrusive. So intrusive thoughts are really common in OCD. And they actually have an evolutionary purpose. You're supposed to have intrusive thoughts. They, I think it's something along the lines of your brain trains you to consider all possibilities and trains you to develop an aversion to the worst ones to make sure that you don't do the bad ones. So you have to think of it and decide it's a bad idea. So it makes you think of bad things every now and again, alongside with good things, knowing that you don't want to do it and that it's beneficial for you. But the thing is, like, that doesn't switch off and it goes excessively in the wrong direction if you have OCD. So you'll get many intrusive thoughts and they will be very, very hard to ignore. And those intrusive thoughts will be things like if you step on the cracks in the pavement, it will break your mother's back. So like someone with OCD might be walking funny and you're like, why is that person walking funny? It's like they are trying not to kill their grandmother, right? People with intrusive thoughts will have thoughts of things like pedophilia, and they're not a pedophile. It's not enjoyable to think of these things, and it's horrible, and it won't stop. And so, like, a really common symptom of like intrusive thought OCD is to go to a therapist and think, like, help me, I think I might be a murderer. I think I might be a psychopath. I think I might be a pedophile. I think I might be a someone untrustworthy. I might be a thief or whatever. And then they talk through with the therapist and like, I think about all these things all the time. And they're like, why do you think of those things? And they're like, I don't know. I don't want to do them. And it makes me fucking sick. And I feel angry with my own brain because it's showing me a montage of shit I don't want to look at and think about all the time. And they're like, oh, so you don't want to do all of these things. So why are you scared that you're one of these things if you don't like any of it? And they're like, oh. Wait, what? And it's like a debilitating condition. It can make people suicidal to have intrusive thought OCD. So like I have intrusive thoughts, like OCD intrusive thoughts, but they don't come out as tics. It's not there's no real overlap there. Like I don't feel like because like I will shout about sheep and I will say I love you and things like this. Really, I will whistle. And it's not like an intrusive thought. It's not like my brain is constantly attacking me and going, whistle, you stupid fucking tuneful bitch. Be a bird now. Call the fucking birds. Yeah, you cheeky little bird slut. Whistle again. And I'm like, ah. Like it's not an intrusive thought. Like the whistle tick is not an intrusive part of my day whatsoever, right? And so like this idea that ticks are intrusive thoughts. I have intrusive thoughts. No, that's not how it works. But hopefully that was informational, educational. Do you get too intrusive thoughts about ticks though? I mean, that's a blurry question because like so I don't know how to answer because I will have ticks in my brain that don't manifest as words or gestures or actions. Like this could be a tick, you know, this could be a tick. I could shout bitch. I could go, ever get that feeling of deja vu, right? These could all be ticks. But they can also be thoughts that occur over and over and over and over again and are like shouting over your thoughts and make it hard to concentrate over and over and over and over and over. And so, like, that is, to an extent, kind of intrusive. You don't really want to hear tracer voice lines over and over and over and over. And it does feel intrusive to a degree, but I don't think it counts as an intrusive thought. If you know what I mean? I think it's something separate, even though it is intrusive. Intrusive mental tics, I feel, are like separate. Do you feel like it's similar to having a song stuck in your head? A little bit, I guess. And I feel like the feeling is quite similar when you have a tic as well to having a song stuck in your head. Because, like, when you have a song stuck in your head, it doesn't feel released until you listen to the full song. The mechanism, that's actually a really good comparison. Fuck, I never thought of this, henchman. I've been describing Tourette's for like 8 years to people, and this is such a good comparison to some of it. Because when you have a song stuck in your head, your brain latches on to a small snippet of the song, not the entire song, and it plays it over and over. Maybe it's a bit of the chorus or the drop of the beat, something that just hits you just right, and you're like, oh, right? But your brain registers the song as an incomplete task because you can only remember a small snippet of it. And so quite often when you have an earworm, when you have like a song stuck in your head, you can release it and stop that by happening by listening to the song, because your brain can complete the entire task. It knows there's more to the song, but it doesn't remember it. So it plays you its favorite bit over and over again. You play the entire song, the task can complete. And so for a lot of people, the cure for an earworm is to listen to the song that's stuck into your head. And it's uncomfortable to hear it over and over. Like, it starts to get annoying when the song is stuck in your head. It plays these few sentences over and over and over and over and over, and you're like, I've got this song stuck in my head. At first it's fun and like, and you're like doing your dishes to the song in your head or whatever, and you're like, okay, this is a bit much now. Can we stop? Okay. Fuck again. And it's like listening to Christmas music over and over again when you work in a store. It's like, okay, this is too much now. This was a bit jolly at first, but I've had too much ho ho ho. And so like what happens with a tic is that you will get the urge, and sometimes you feel it rising and you'll know it's coming. And so it's there pressuring you over and over until you do it, and then it feels like a release. You're like, oh. And there's a little bit of adjacentness to when you get songs stuck in your head and you hear it over and over again in your head till you release it, until you listen to the song, and then it's gone. I guess that's right. I listened to the song like 15 times and then I'm good. Yeah. There's a lot of people who think that tics are in sexual form because they are pairs. Well, and that it's not true. I feel like it's really worrying when people think that Tourette's is like either possession or like you're just inner thoughts being blurted out, because a lot of people have tics that are not representative of their thoughts whatsoever. And also, if people think you're possessed, like exorcisms and things like that are really dangerous. People die of them. So if you are just forcing something like that on someone, that is just you attacking them. And because it's a neurological condition, it's not going to be cured by that whatsoever. You can see Tourette's on a brain scan. So, like, you're not going to be able, no religious figure is going to cure you of Tourette's. What do you think about if you're in a relationship and you start taking more care of yourself and prioritize yourself in terms of being healthy and taking care of your body, because you know how much joy and energy and healthy mind and body gives you, and you notice that this value is not shared by your partner the way you envisioned your ideal relationship? I feel like just because you're being healthy doesn't mean that your partner has to be healthy. Like, everyone is allowed the exact life quality that they want. So for some people, a life without alcohol would make them more healthy, but it would make them more happy. Like, they're willing to take the health debuff to have alcohol in their lives. Like, to drink once a week on the weekends and have fun on a night out is important enough to them that they're willing to do a little bit of liver damage. They know. And we know this because we put loads of pictures of broken black ass lungs on cigarettes. Here in the UK, every single box of cigarettes has to have organ damage, visceral pictures of like people's organs all fucked up. And people look at that while they smoke their cigarettes and still buy several packs a day. They know it's unhealthy. They have chosen the debuff because for them, quality of life is about their experience. And some experiences aren't physically healthy, but they are mentally stimulating enough that people will make sacrifices for them. And so everybody makes a decision where they fit on that scale. Okay. You might be eating healthy, but you might occasionally eat things with sugar in. And there might be someone who's further than you who's sugar free who would be like, what the fuck? Why are you doing that to yourself? In the same way that you might feel that way about someone who's smoking, right? Because sugar is completely unnecessary. Nobody needs sugar, right? And so people make that choice on like what kind of food they want to eat, what kind of life they want to live, and what kind of things they want to prioritize. Some people want to be really wealthy, some people want to spend all their money, and both are legit life strats. And we're entitled to make those choices, even if they're a mistake. Part of being free is being free to make your own mistakes. And so, like, when you're with someone and they don't want to have the same level of health as you, it doesn't mean you can't love them and can't look forward to talking to them and can't relate to them and connect with them. It just means that you look after your bodies differently. And that's okay. That doesn't have to be a deal breaker. But it can feel like one when you want to eat with this person, but you're having to cook separate meals. When you want to spend your day going for a walk or going to the gym or doing something healthy, and they want to stay at home and veg out in front of the TV. And then you start to feel like your goals and the things that you enjoy doing are tearing you apart. Because the things that you used to do with your partner, you can't anymore. The way you used to love them is you would eat with them, you would go places with them, you would take them to a restaurant, you would watch a movie with them, and now you're never home. Now you don't want to sit there and you don't want to eat unhealthy shit. And the things that you're eating, they don't want to eat with you. And so that can be a that can absolutely sink a bridge that you used to have, a bridge of connection with your partner. And like there are multiple things you can do about that. I feel like frustration at them isn't going to work out because it's going to feel like an accusation and a judgment of their personal health. But if you're just looking for ways to, like, if you could love your partner no matter what kind of body they had, this doesn't have to get in the relationship, in the way of your relationship. Like, you can love someone who decides to be chubbier than you, or have less muscle than you know, or be more sedentary than you, or, have more vices than you. That there's definitely a way to love that person. There's a way to have birthday parties with them and to go places with them, go traveling, have holidays with them, read a book in bed next to them, tell them about your day after a hard day's work. Go play tennis with them. Like, you can still relate to these people, you just have to realize that if you love someone, they're not gonna align with everything. If you're looking for your twin, that's just incestuous. Like, not everyone's gonna wanna live the life that you do, but they don't have to love you. But, like, if you're like, "No, I've decided I wanna be a buff dude, and I wanna be in a relationship where we're 2 buff dudes, and we're all oily, and rub our fat chests together, and, like, bounce off each other's pectoral muscles," right? Like, if that's your vision for the future, and you're looking at your partner, and they're like, "Well, we got together, we weren't hench. I don't really fancy getting hench. I've got other things to do. I've got World of Warcraft to play, buddy. Like, you can have all the oily tits you want. Well done. I'm not getting oily tits with you." And you're like, "Oh, this does not align with my view of the future." I think that's fine. Go find your oily bitch. Go find the guy who's gonna be your gym bro and like, go find your mans. But I feel like if you just got healthy and it's just changed some of the small things that you used to do together, that's totally fixable. That doesn't have to end your relationship at all. Yeah, because like you're not supposed to do everything with your partner. It's okay to have a hobby and an interest that they're not into. Absolutely. Do you train long distance with a disability? Uh, long distance training? What's what is that? I'm so confused by that question. Used to do long distance running. Oh, yeah, I used to go for runs. It helped me through my depression in my 20s. I mean, luckily, my disability is not one that's really gonna interfere with that too much. I mean, I might shout "bastard" at the odd person when running past them, but that's not really inhibited me much. It just encourages me to run faster. Can you say no, no, no. No, I'm not saying that. And if I was gonna say that, I would definitely need more than 1 pound 6. Yeah, go ahead and run that dono, Tony.
How can you spot a sad elevator button? Look for depressed one.
Thanks for that. I need advice. What are some side gigs you would recommend so I can pay for college? Dick. Do dick. It's good for you. It's not good for you. Cannot vouch for that one. At college, I mean, you got so many options. Just do stuff that's reversible. I wouldn't dip into OnlyFans as like a cool side gig for college. That is a lifetime commitment, buddy. I would go for stuff that is fun, maybe gives you a additional life skill. Weirdly, there are lots of obvious ones for that. A less obvious one for that is bartending. Bartending will give you so many social skills. It will change you fundamentally as a human being. There is something to do with dealing with drunk people. Every single person I ever know who used to be a bartender at some point in their life is fun, bubbly, great socially, good at holding a conversation, confident. It just does something to you. It just injects you with a level of social prowess I just is unmatched to the point where when I meet people, I can tell. I'm like, "Did you used to do bartending?" And they're like, "Yeah, how did you know?" And I'm like, "Oh, it just shows. It just shows." And I've never done bartending, so I don't actually precisely know what the fuck it is. So, like, bartending is one of those unsung, like, a little bit of extra money, immense social skills. And I can tell you now, bitch, social skills are much more valuable than bitches, than your actual resume. Like, because when people take you for a job interview, they are picturing spending their lives with you. They're going to spend more time with you than their spouse. So, if you are fun and inviting and friendly and warm and like just generally nice to be around, people will like you and want you for the job more than the person who's more qualified a lot of the time. Maybe it's not going to work if like you're a bubbly person with no experience in brain surgery and they're looking for a brain surgery. Maybe it's not going to carry you there. It's not that heavy a carry. But in every other such like situation, like it will take you so much further. It will account for so much more of your salary, you know? So I'm gonna say like bartending. It's never too late to try bartending, even if it's just for a little while, temporary. I suck at job interviews because I have no social skills. Bartending! Maybe it's time to go do some bartending. Do you have any advice on rekindling the spark for something you've lost interest in, like study? I feel like life is supposed to have chapters. So you don't have to be interested in something forever. Like, it's okay to be interested in something for a little while and to really relish in it and love it at the time and then move on. And so, like, I don't really try to rekindle anything. If I lose interest in something, quite often I'll pack it away and maybe I'll revisit it later. And sometimes I do. Like, I stopped doing a painting like a year in and then picked it up again like 3 years later and finished it. And I was really happy with it and it was worth the wait. But I'm perfectly fine with the fact that I did not force myself to finish it against my will and stop enjoying it. Like, I didn't do that to myself. And so, when it comes to your interests, you are a book. The book would be boring if it was like, I was born, I played with Legos, and I died. Like, maybe it's okay to go, in the beginning, there was Lego. And then down the line, A few chapters later, there were Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And then a few chapters after that, there was girls. I was very interested in girls until I wasn't. And now there's boys and flesh toys for some reason. But we're not going to look in my cupboard. We're now going to move on to Pokemon cards. I entered the interest a little late, but now I'm in love with Pokemon cards, age 34. And after the Pokemon cards, there was tennis. And after the tennis, there was men again for a time. And now I'm back to the Legos, and I'm paying inordinate amounts of money for my £100,000 Lego sets. And that's a way more interesting book, is it not? So, like, why not have chapters, bitch? Be interesting. Don't guilt yourself into overcommitting to interests. They're supposed to interest you. I'm not convinced that I will move on from girls, but okay, each to their own. Yeah, some people do, though. Some people have chapters, that's all I'm going to say. That's a very valid. Thanks for the outside view. Yes, someone with ADHD with a lot of very temporary interests. I have enjoyed lots of interests and I really went ham on them for short periods of time and I have no regrets. I'm really glad I did that. I'm very happy that I got to dabble in a little bit of everything and take an interest in lots of things. You know, it's like eating Skittles. They're all different colors and flavors and that's really nice. I mean, maybe having a bag of mints suits some people, but I don't want to eat 154 mints in a row. I'd rather each one be a different flavor and just enjoy them temporarily. And I think interests are like that too. And it just makes you interesting. Be greedy. I've been people pleasing for so long that now I can barely tell how I really feel. I think if I unmasked fully, I'd just have no I'd have no reactions to almost anything in daily life. Is that weird? This is time for therapy. I need you to go and book a therapist. I do. You need a therapist. Like, that behaviorally is a deeply entrenched behavior that you are scared to break away from, but know you have to and don't know how. And the thing is, when you stop people pleasing, you're going to lose a bunch of friends. And that is going to be fucking hard. And people that love you are going to be mad at you for a little while. And that is going to be fucking hard. And you might lose your resolve and go back to being everyone's bitch if you don't get a therapist. You're going to need someone who is in your corner, supporting you and going, yeah, you go, girl. You piss off that mother of yours, that 84-year-old grandma. Fuck that bitch. She should not have asked you to use her entire day off to do her yard work. That was not okay, right? And like, everyone else is gonna be like, you're not gonna do the yard work for your poor old grandma? What's wrong with you? Why have you been so mean lately? And you're gonna doubt yourself and question yourself. You're like, people pleasers need to go to a therapist because everyone around you is there because you do shit for them. Because you don't question them, because you don't challenge them. And so, like, it's gonna feel like you're in the wrong when you first start doing right by yourself. And then, like, when you do right by yourself and you're like, no, I don't like bread. No, thank you. You keep your bread. Then like, you don't want my bread? But I baked it just for you. And I'm like, I've never liked bread, Karen. I've just been taking it to be polite. I don't want you wasting your afternoon cooking bread for my birds. I just feed it to my pigeons. Like, I could go get a loaf of bread for 50p and you can have your afternoon back, Karen. And they're like, ah. And like, eventually you'll be surrounded by people who like you and like you when you serve yourself. Because that's the rest of us. The rest of us are around each other and we say no to each other occasionally, and that's fine. And you need an environment like that to thrive and have your own time back. And the people that will have gravitated towards you as a chronic people pleaser will not create a healthy, budding environment for you and your personal growth and your own existence, right? And so, like, yeah, I think primarily whenever I meet a people pleaser, I'm like, hi, I will personally pay for you to go to therapy. I will do whatever it takes to convince you to go to therapy, but you need to go to therapy right now. You need to get your fucking life back before you give it to everyone else and they don't even appreciate it. Because the problem with being a people pleaser is it's risky. Because if you gave a bag of rice to your friend or your neighbor every single day for a year, and then you didn't on the 363rd day, right? They would not be happy that you gave them rice every day. They'd be angry that you denied them their last bag of rice. And this is the problem with overgiving when you don't want to give, is you're no longer giving to people out of love and connection, you are just depriving yourself. You know, you are just robbing yourself. And these people will not appreciate you for it. They will come to expect it and then they will resent you for withdrawing it. And they come to expect an unreasonable amount from you because they know they can ask for too much and you'll still do it. And people pleasing is a lack of self-respect. Okay? It is when you disrespect your own needs, comfort zone, and boundaries. You completely ignore all of the things you would respect in others, but you ignore it for yourself. Right? So if someone said to you, I don't have time to help you next Wednesday, and you're like, I don't care, do it anyway. And it's like, maybe you should clean your own car next Wednesday. And you're like, I don't want to clean my car. You clean my car next Wednesday. And they're like, but I don't want to. And you're like, do it anyway to please me. Right? You'd feel like an asshole. But you do that to yourself for others. You're like, I don't want to wash your car on Wednesday, but I'll do it anyway to please them because otherwise they'd be sad. And so you are being a dick to yourself and you can't see it and you are being an emotional tyrant. And often you feel like a good person, but you're not. Not just because you're bullying yourself and disregarding your own needs, but because you often don't give a fuck about these people and don't like them and actually resent them intensely. When you disregard your own needs and are constantly uncomfortable, you do not enjoy being around people. You find them exhausting. You dread seeing them. You don't like them because you know that they're going to make you, you're really making yourself, but they're going to make you do a bunch of stuff that you don't want to do. So like you're not going to get by in life and you're not going to have real friends and you're not going to have real connections and you're not going to feel supported. It's a weird form of isolation when you're surrounded by people who are just using you. Have you ever played animal/zoo card games on Steam like Ark Nova or Wingspan? I haven't. Are they any good? I didn't even know those existed. I don't even know what that looks like. I'm gonna have to Google that after the stream. I had a big argument with my boyfriend yesterday, and I texted him and called him about 1,000 times today and got no reply for a whole fucking day. We've been on thin ice for a long time now. He just won't change. What do I do? Should I end things? If he ever texts back, lol. I kind of feel like if someone doesn't reply the first time, it's really disrespectful to call like another 90 times because the first time they ignored your messages was the no. So like I feel like there's a disrespecting of boundaries there. I know that I'm not going to call you an abuser and I'm not going to say you're a terrible person or anything like that, so don't worry. But I will say that sometimes we have blind spots and we don't realize the harm that our actions are doing. And it will drive someone away further if you don't respect their no. So if they're not ready to text back, texting 1,000 times will not make them text back sooner. And it will make you look kind of crazy. Because if they show their friends and are like, my girlfriend texted me 1,000 times because I haven't texted them yet today, that would look unreasonable to anyone. They'll be like, wow, that's really weird and forceful. And the thing is, even if you're a really lovely person in every other respect, abusers do this. So, like if an abuser punches you in the face and you go and stay at your grandma's for the night or the weekend, they will text and call 10,000 times because you didn't pick up. Like they will decide that it is not reasonable for you to talk when you're ready, and they will just try to force you and pressure you over and over again by calling and calling and calling. It's not a good look. It's not a very mature or developed way to handle a falling out. I know you don't enjoy the silence. I know you don't enjoy the space they're taking, but you can't force them to interact with you sooner than they want to. It won't fix the situation. It will just make it worse. So I would stop with the texting and calling now. I would just leave it. And let them make their own personal decisions. Because calling and texting over and over and them ignoring it will only make them justify leaving you. It will not help you right now. It's extreme and it forces an extreme reaction. Yes, and it adds additional stress. If they're stressed about talking to you, seeing 59 unread messages is going to make them even more stressed about talking to you. It's probably extending the silence. What would you say to someone who is pre everything, like pre medical legal changes and trans, living in America, who is afraid of how things are currently progressing? Uh, I would say whatever your choice is, I respect it. Some people who are not in a position to leave the States right now are not open about who they are because they can't trust everyone to treat them fairly and can't trust just, what's the word? Indiscriminately. They can't just indiscriminately disclose who they are right now because they know that some people would try to punish them for it. And if that's the decision you have to make because you're not in a position to move or go somewhere that feels safe, that is perfectly legit. And you do not have to sacrifice anything or put yourself on the line just for other people to know things about you. Like that, you don't owe people an explanation of who you are. You don't have to be open with everyone if it's not safe, right? So if you're like, "I'm not comfortable and I don't feel safe living in America right now," and your option isn't to move, I think the next option is do what makes you feel safest. Protect yourself as best you can. Um, and I'm so sorry that you have to make these considerations. But if you can work towards moving somewhere where you will be safe and accepted and has been a long-standing place where a refuge, I would definitely aim to be going there and find a way to live somewhere where you can be yourself and you don't have to hide anything or be punished. My girlfriend has mental health struggles, anxiety, and BPD, and over this month, she has told me that it's getting bad. She recently got kicked out of her parents' house, and I haven't heard from her in a week, and I'm really worried. So she needs a support network that isn't just you, that can provide her with housing, can provide her with a safe refuge and mental health services. There are charities, they're different everywhere. So you're going to have to look for local charities in your area and you're going to have to look for local resources for people who suffer with mental health issues because she could end up being on the streets. She could end up, in a really bad position. A lot of people fall into drugs and sex work when they are kicked out of their parents' house, especially when they're young. So this can be a really catastrophic point in her life if she doesn't get the support she needs very soon. And it can be completely life altering to get medication, to get mental health support, all of these things. And I think it's in a matter of an emergency. So for me, if I knew somebody who had been kicked out and needed things, I would be like, can I get you a phone or a method of contact? Let's set you up an email. Let's go to the library and set you up an email. So no matter what, you can email me from this library if you don't have your phone, don't have credit, these sorts of things. This is a permanent free line of contact to me. If you're struggling with your mental health, you might not be able to manage emails to mental health services. Would you let me contact them on your behalf? And I can manage it for you. So that if you have an episode and you're angry or going through some stuff, you don't say something that ruins your chances with them. Maybe I can help you with that, provide a little bit of stability. And I think that would be the first two things that I would do. And I would also say have you gone to a doctor yet? And do you want to set an appointment with a doctor? If I set an appointment with a doctor, do you want to go to the doctor with me? We can go on this date and we can see if you can get meds or resources through the doctor. These would be things that I would put out there. Also, if she's feeling suicidal at any point in this, because she's going through a really hard time. She's just gone homeless, she's battling with mental health issues, she's really struggling with those mental health issues. Say let's put aside a specific amount of money, say a £5 note. You never spend this £5 note, and give them a phone number. Wrap the £5 around the note phone number and be like, if only use this in an emergency. If you're feeling suicidal, we'll go to this exact 24-hour cafe. So it doesn't matter what time. And you go there and you ring me and I will come and we can talk it out. We can just let the moment pass. Because most of the time when people are suicidal, the feeling passes. It's temporary. right? Suicidalness is a very impulsive thing. So if you ride the wave of the negative feeling, it usually goes away and you calm down. But that can take an hour or two. And in that time, you might not last that long. You might end your life. So if you go somewhere public where you can't end your life, because you're not going to end your life in front of everybody in like a cafe, like an internet cafe or something. So you go to a public place where you're not going to hurt yourself in front of everyone, and you call someone who'll come and chat with you and you can calm down. And that can be life saving. And it could be like a pull this in case of an emergency thing. So, those are some tips. I hope she gets by. I've never had to deal with BPD, so I don't know if any of that is particularly useful. But if I was really concerned about someone I love in their position, I think those would be the top few things that I would actively do right now to make sure that no matter how bad things get, there is a way out. There is hope. Sanctus Stercor says, bitch, do you have a dick? How do you get over dick? Getting dick, 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 how do you get dick? How do you get over getting ghosted by someone who shows interest in a person but rarely responds over the text or phone, especially if they say you didn't text them even though you did? I feel like I'm the kind of person who would lose interest very quickly if it wasn't reciprocated. I feel like if I had communications with like communication issues with somebody who I fancied, and we weren't texting each other very much, we weren't talking to each other very much. Like when I meet them in person, they're kind of aloof. They're not really interested in me in person. This sort of stuff. I'm just gonna find someone who's enthusiastically into me because this just does not suit me. And I feel like sometimes people are attracted to things that they shouldn't put up with, but don't know are wrong. And this happens for a multitude of reasons. But so like if your parents were aloof or emotionally unavailable, you're very used to that. You don't see a problem with it. It's your day to day. Most people would be driven away by someone aloof, but you don't even notice it because that's your background noise. You're used to people that are the objects of your love and affection and connection being weird and straight faced and not really being emotional with you. That could be one reason. There are so many reasons why someone would put up with and keep pursuing someone who is showing no interest in person, but it's not normal. It is not normal or healthy to be like, yeah, this person shows no interest in me in person. Um, and like the vice versa is true too. So like if they show interest in person, but they're really aloof by text and message, that is the same thing. Like that's not normal. That's kind of weird. And you don't have to put up with that. And that would be off-putting to most people as well. Like, so it sounds like you were just putting up with a lot of abnormal behavior, and it's a red flag for you because in future you should not be pining after someone who doesn't want to talk to you because we're men. I think another part of it though, I think both men and women have this, but another part of it is if somebody doesn't like text you back or talk to you very much on messaging, it can be because they already have a partner or there's someone at home that shouldn't know that they're flirting. So it can be a huge red flag for them that like you're pursuing someone who isn't really single or shouldn't really be pursuing you. So like I definitely think if someone doesn't message back specifically, that you should just take that as no and be repulsed by it and be like, nah, I was interested, but you just don't message. Right? Them ghosting sounds to me like, did you ghost or did they ghost? Let me read again. Ghosted by someone. Them ghosting says that they don't talk to you, but you're still interested. You miss them even though they don't talk to you. And you shouldn't. You should be repulsed by this. Yeah, you should be over it already. You should be like, I did not like the lack of communication there. Thank you. Even though it's been a few years, it pops up randomly and it still bothers me. I'm sorry. That sucks. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like you deserve someone who texts back. I think you do. And you'll find them. Is ghosting a bad thing? It can be good, it can be bad. I feel like I have ghosted some people And the reason why I made that decision is because they could not be trusted with an answer. So usually if I ever have a problem with someone, I'll go, I have a problem with this, and I would like to either fix it or stop communicating. And they get an answer and they get closure. Some people cannot be trusted with that discussion. So like I had someone that I had to just completely ghost because they were taking screenshots of our discussions and editing them and then using them to show to other people to claim that we were in a relationship and that we were into each other and that we had a thing. We never had a thing. And then they were taking screenshots of everything I said to them, and I didn't know this, and sharing them with people at the same time as saying to me, don't worry, everything we talk about is completely private. Right? And that was weird and very two-faced, right? Because like they offered that. I never said, hey, can you keep everything a secret? I just never even thought about it. And they're like, by the way, I know because the position you're in, it's like hard to have conversations with people, but just so you know, everything that you say is between us. Meanwhile, every last thing I said, like, hey, you want to play a game tonight? They would take a screenshot of that and go, like, my girlfriend wants to play games tonight. She's so cute. She loves these games. She loves that games. We love playing games together because we're just so in sync. And all this sort of stuff. Yeah, it was really, really weird. I'd never met this person in person. I'd never flirted with them. I'd never been with them. I'd never, like, we were not a thing. So, like, it was very weird. And I knew that if I said, hey, I have found out about all of the screenshotting and the weird shit you're making up about me, and I find it really weird that you're claiming that we're together and stuff. And I don't want to talk to you anymore. I didn't think that conversation would be fruitful, and I knew that they would like screenshot it, edit it, make up a whole story with other people. I was like, I'm just not going to give you any more ammunition. So I just blocked them. That's what I did. I just didn't talk to them anymore because they just couldn't be trusted with any talk. Block there. Yeah. So I feel like in that situation, it wouldn't have been fruitful to have any further discussion. You kind of have to be trustworthy. You kind of have to be, what's the word? You have to be mature enough to hold a conversation about why things are falling apart. Otherwise, you will just get abandoned. People will just walk away from you if they feel like they cannot discuss it. There are loads of reasons why you couldn't be trusted. Like maybe you just don't take feedback well and never take responsibility for anything. And people will just ghost you there as well because they know that talking to you about the issue will not fix the issue because you'll just deny you are the problem, right? So people who are not mature enough get ghosted. But also, sometimes ghosting is bad because sometimes the person who isn't mature is the ghoster. Sometimes the person who ghosts you is the person who's like, I didn't know how to handle this conversation, so I panicked and just never replied. And so, like, sometimes it's not your fault that you were ghosted, and sometimes it totally is. So is ghosting good or bad? It can be good in some circumstances because it's like your only choice. Like some people, like narcissists and stuff, if you reply to them, they will manipulate you and make drama and darvo and try to hurt your reputation if you reply. And they will try to skew everything you say and make it look like you were attacking them and try to turn your friends against you and stuff. So ghosting sometimes is the only option when it comes to like narcissistic people. Because no reply is going to benefit you, and any reply could put you at further risk. Yeah, go ahead and run that donut, Tony. Ah,
Love you, you are so sweet. Greetings from Poland. You are awesome and some cute.
thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for the tip, sweetheart. I think the worst thing is when you're a nice guy and trying to date and they won't even give you the time of day and they match you but won't even reply to a nice message. Can you tell me why that is a thing? Oh, and you're trolling. You're absolutely trolling. Yeah, that is bait. Is a friendship drifting apart without talking about it considered ghosting, or does it simply imply blocking the person? So ghosting is usually when you hold a conversation and you just cut it off and never speak to them again. And the other person has no idea what went wrong. You just won't speak to them. Usually they'll send a follow-up message and you'll just ignore that too. I think slowly drifting apart isn't ghosting. Slowly drifting apart is quite natural for a lot of friendships, but like, no, ghosting is something a lot more abrupt, sudden, and confusing. Oh my fucking god, that's what I was trying to explain to someone earlier. Yeah, ghosting is very abrupt and feels very unnatural and sudden. Usually with ghosting, like in person, people are fine with you. The last conversation you had with someone, you're fine. And then all of a sudden, you never hear from them again. It's like they disappeared. But quite often, they're still around. They're just not talking to you. So, like, you see they still post on their social media. They are still replying to other people in comments and stuff, but they're just not replying to you. Like, so they exist, they just don't want to talk to you anymore. Hey Anita, any advice on parents pressuring you to get married? I'm 35 and in a relationship, and I don't know how to deal with my overbearing mom constantly pressuring us for kids and marriage. Oh, absolutely have the solution for this. You can have a conversation with your parents, and you can be like, "Hey, I'm gonna live life at my own pace. I'm gonna make decisions at my own pace. Even if you think it's a mistake, it's my mistake to make. Okay? And I find it really uncomfortable, and I dread seeing you when you tell me that you want me to do things when you want tell me to get married and have kids, right? And I love you and I want to have a mom. I want to have a mom for many, many years. I want to be there for you at like end of life care. I want to be either visiting you at the care home or looking after you. I want to know you. And if I ever do have grandkids, I want you to know your grandkids. But I know that we're going to end up drifting apart and I'm not going to want to spend any time around you and I'm not going to have much contact with you if you're constantly pressuring me to live the life you think I should instead of the life that I choose. And I know that my pace and my standards and my goals don't really align with your timeline, but that's okay because it's not your life. And the reason I'm having this conversation is not to attack you. Please don't get mad. I love you. I want to be close with you, but I don't feel like I can be close with you when you constantly bring this up. So I'm going to set up a rule. If you bring up marriage or kids, I will not visit you again. From here on out, this is not a discussion we ever have anymore. There are so many discussions we can have where I can love you, laugh with you, relate to you, connect with you. We do not connect over this discussion. At the end of the day, it is my choice if and when. And I'm not willing to have any further discussion on it, ever. Here is the rule. If you bring it up at the dinner table, if you ever ask me about it again, I will just get up quietly, not respond, and walk out the door. And you will not hear from me. This is a boundary now. Because I love you. Not because I'm mad at you or want to control you. Because I want to deny you grandkids or anything. I love you. I want to enjoy my time with you. I will no longer accept these discussions. For the sake of us, this is how it's going to be. And because parents can't dib your life. They can't dibs your life. They can't decide how it's going to go for you. They get to keep you alive long enough to discover who you are with you, but they don't ever get to decide who you are or how you live or what you do. I'm 36. I'm not going to have kids. Never. And like, I remember having that discussion with my dad when I was like maybe 13 or something. I was a young kid. We were sat in his back garden looking at the fish in his pond. And I said, I'm never going to have kids. I don't want kids. And he was like, wow, Anita, no parent wants to hear that. I was like, okay, but I'm never going to have kids. That's just how it is. And like my mom said, don't have kids, they ruin your life. But when I cleared through her stuff, I found a book that is From Grandma to You or something. And you fill it out as a grandmother. It asks you loads of questions and you leave it to your grandkids. And she doesn't have any grandkids. I'm her only kid. And I've had no kids. So I think even my mom, who didn't really show signs that she never encouraged me to have kids ever, but even she, I think, wanted grandkids deep down. I just never knew about that until after her death. And with both of my parents, it's probably really disappointing to them that I never had kids, and I don't care. I genuinely don't care. Um, I don't wanna adopt. I know I have that option if I ever feel broody, but I don't want to adopt. I just don't want kids. I don't think marriage is necessary. I think you can love a person whether or not you marry them, and marriage just isn't for me, right? So with that, I literally don't regret that decision. I know I will never regret that decision. I'm perfectly happy with that decision. And there was nothing my parents could have said that would have changed it. All it would have changed is our relationship. I made my choice. And I would have considered it incredibly disrespectful and totally cut contact if they ever made it my problem. And like, if they wanted grandkids, they should have probably had multiple kids. So that, because, plenty of people don't want to have kids. I mean, what if I did want kids and I just died at like age 15? Then they'd still have no grandkids. If you want grandkids, if that's a huge old goal of yours, have multiple kids. Have like 4 kids or something. Um, but like for me, I feel like with kids, I've never felt broody, but also my parents just never were close with me. And I don't know what a happy parent-child relationship looks like, so I don't know how to build one, and I don't desire one because I've never had one. So it's not something that I miss. I never know what it was like. So I couldn't provide it for a child. So I would just hate raising them because like I wouldn't know how to bond with them, how to talk to them, how to relate to them. Like my parents never really hugged me growing up. They were never really close with me. So like it's not a skill I have. So why would I have kids? That's like getting a job being a neurosurgeon when you don't know how to cut up brains, right? It's so important to someone's future to be able to take care of them properly. Children die of neglect. Like there was in the medieval times, they basically didn't know what language a child would speak when they grew up if they weren't taught a language. So this rich nobleman decided to do some science because he had the resources, and he bought several peasants' babies. He bought several of them, and he paid maids to never speak to these babies. They would nurse them without speaking to them, without looking at them, without conversing with them, nothing. Because he wanted to see what language they would speak when they grew up. And because there was debates, there were scholars saying they speak like Hebrew, or they'd speak like, this language or that language or whatever, the word of God, blah, 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 blah. And he really wanted to find out. So all of those babies died before they hit toddler age. Because if you do not speak to your child and do not touch your child, do not make eye contact with your child, if you do not nurture your child, they die. It does physical damage to them to not have that basic need met. So all of them died. It's called failure to thrive in medical terms. They all just died. Never speaking to your child kills them. And so, like, I have the wounds of neglect. I have the wounds of, in my neurodevelopment and in a lot of ways, like, and in my nervous system and physical health, everything. It is a permanent injury I will never recover from, that my parents did not bond or, like, look at me, pick me up, nothing. My mom never hugged me, nothing. And so I'm lucky I didn't die, but I do not have that skill set. So it would be risky to the child for me to have a child. And I do not desire to be close to a child. I never had any siblings growing up. I never felt comfortable around other children. I didn't go to school. I didn't know how to relate to other children. And when I tried to go to school, I got beaten up for my Tourette's. So children are like, my brain goes danger, danger whenever I say children. I don't feel comfortable around them. I don't like being near them. And also, I swear involuntarily. And so I'm not the best example. I'm not the best person to put near a child because they will learn a few extra slurs. So with all of that in consideration, I'm the worst parental candidate in existence. And I know this, and I'm fine with it. I'm going to fill my time with so much else, and I don't feel worried about it. It doesn't hurt me. It's not like a problem. I live a really wonderful life that I could never live. I could not just sit for 6 hours and play computer games if I had a toddler to take care of. Like, I love my life. I have no regrets. But like, There's another part of it that people forget as well, which is that there are people out there who have 6 or 7 kids, and in order for them to exist and have as many kids as they want, there have to be people out there that don't want any, or we'd go extinct. Overpopulation would kill us. So it's good that there are people we need people who don't want kids. And on top of that, there are ways to contribute life to humanity and be responsible for more lives than a parent ever could. Like the person who developed vaccines for things like polio are responsible for more lives today that exist. More people have grown up and are happy and have had happy childhoods because of the people who cured diseases than the people who gave birth, than the people who were fathers. There are ways to contribute life to this population without ever having a single child. So I don't think it's necessarily a net negative for people to be child free. Also, we always look at people and judge them who had kids who shouldn't. Like, press one if you know someone who shouldn't be a parent, who is, and you're like, oh God. Because I definitely met people like that. Uh-uh. So we should definitely be celebrating the people that know that about themselves in advance. Absolutely. Don't you think? I have a question for you. What would be the most romantic thing I can get my wife? No occasion, just want to make her feel appreciated. There are loads of different ways. Find something that she's interested in or loved, and find a way to celebrate that love. So I'll give you some examples. There was this guy who proposed to his wife, and his wife had a cat that she'd had most of her life. This really ancient old cat, probably in its 20s. And it died that year. So about 7 months before he ever proposed to his wife, he went to the cat and he took a video of himself showing the ring to the cat and getting the cat's blessing. Um, and the cat passed away. And then he proposed to her and said, "By the way, don't worry, I got this cat's blessing. I got little Timmy's blessing," and gave her a framed photo of the ring being shown to the cat and the cat sniffing it. And that was so romantic and so cute. And all of the comment section was just like, "Oh my God, definitely marry that guy. That is the most romantic thing. I'm crying. That's what so wonderful. That would steal my heart." Exactly. Also, if you have a favorite place, like maybe it's the place where you went on your honeymoon, maybe it's the place where you proposed to them, maybe it's the place where you asked them on a date, maybe it's the place you went on your first date. On your anniversary, go there again and make it special. Do something nice there, you know? Um, Maybe you can, like, there's jewelry that makes maps. Like, you could make jewelry with a map of your favorite place, or you can what else can you do? There's so many cool things that you can do. Uh, if they have a favorite food or a favorite flavor, remember that. So, like, you can surprise them. If they go and tie their shoe, you can come back with their favorite flavor ice cream. You're like, "Oh, I got you some lemon sorbet ice cream." And they can be like, "Oh my God, my favorite." Like, remember their favorite flowers, or maybe their favorite colors. Notice things without being told. Like, if they only ever wear gold jewelry, don't buy them a silver fucking ring. Notice the things they like. Start to get a keen eye for the things that your wife would totally buy for themselves. Because then you'll be good at getting things for them. Just save that to notes, thank you. Less cheesecake and more chicken, basically. I do a ton of walking nearly on my feet for at least 5 hours a day, and I love the rowing machine in the gym. Cool. I have no idea what that's. What? How much of your lack of desire to have children comes from your belief that you would be an inadequate parent? Could you give it a percentage? I'd say like 20%. high enough to be like a good quarter maybe, but not the entire picture. Like, if I could be an amazing parent, I still wouldn't have kids. Absolutely. It would not, like, make it less certain. How do I actually start feeling like a proper adult? I'm turning 30 and I'm realizing I still feel like I'm the same person at 19. It's like my peers are all getting married, getting houses, working careers, etc. Well, I'm still stuck. How do I get over that? I'm an adult now. Checkpoint. You don't. You feel 19 until you're 99. One of the things that happens is you never arrive at a moment where you're like, wait, I just know how to handle everything. Like, I'm a grown up now. I could be responsible for children and stuff. That doesn't happen. It's not a click moment. You're not like, aha, nothing transforms you, nothing verifies you, nothing. The answer is nothing. Nothing does that. You don't get that. The people who you know around you who are married and shit, they still feel like kids deep down. Like, the fact of the matter is that you do not have to have kids. You do not have to get married. You do not have to have a house. You do not have to get a specific career to be an adult. Being adult is just gaining the skill set to adapt to your new day. That's it. That's all adulthood is. Be mature. Being mature is behavioral identity. It is not a job. It is not a white picket fence. It is not the right partner. It's none of those things. Just being able to handle crisis is basically when you're an adult. When you start handling enough crises that you're like, yeah, I can handle this. Whatever life throws at me next, I will get through it. I've gotten through all of the crises so far. I'm fine now. That's it. Crisis management is 100% of adulthood. Because you can still be 10 million times more mature than someone who got married before you. They can have a really childish marriage where they're cheating on each other and fucking each other over in a million ways and just not talking about it so you don't even see it. But they could be immature at home. Like, the fact that someone's married doesn't make them more mature than you. And also, whatever job you do, like, we aren't born dreaming of labor. What you do to pay the bills does not define you as a human being or how grown up you are. It just doesn't. These check marks are other people's timelines and other people's aspirations for their jobs. You don't have to have anything. Like, I don't have any of those, and I feel like a pretty settled adult. I do. I feel so grown up. And like, I felt grown up since I was like 15. I didn't get to feel like a kid for very long. I was given loads of responsibilities. And I'm fine with that. Like, I'm fine feeling like, yeah, I can handle crisis. I can choose what I want from life. I'm in control of my destiny, and I'm designing a life that I want. Like, that is it. I feel grown up. I feel okay. And for me, that was I didn't have a job when I was 15. I didn't have a job. I'd never married anyone, and I felt like a grown up. But like um, my grandmother, she said to me, you know, I still feel like a kid deep down inside. I just have an old body now. You never really ever feel like a grown up. You never really arrive at this moment. And I'm like, oh, that's good to know. She told me that when I was like 11. And you're winging it every single day. So those check marks don't really count as adulthood markers because they can be blown away. Like, nothing in you can really be taken away from you in your identity, but like, you can lose a marriage, you can lose a house, you can lose a job. Adulthood isn't something you can really scrub away. How do I deal with overprotective parents as a disabled person? I'm 22, never fully left the house alone, I'm missing basic skills. And my mom says she's not ready to let me, and I'm terrified of conflict. That really sucks. I am so sorry. You need an advocate. So you need to go to an advocate, a disability advocate. and you need to have meetings with them, and you need to go to your parents and go, I need a disability advocate because one day I'm going to need skills for a job and this some stuff, and say, don't worry, it's very far away, but I need to build them for years before I can have them. And if anything happens to either of you, I would be absolutely screwed, right? So it's better to have those skills in place and not need them than to never have them at all. But don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. And then when you get to the disability advocate place, your mom, dad, I need you to stand outside. Like, I just want to talk to them alone. And you have all of those meetings one-to-one with them alone. You tell them the situation. My parents are overbearing, but I want to build towards having independence. I want to build towards having a job, having my own place to live, these sorts of things that isn't reliant on my parents. How do I step towards that? What can I do? And there can be disability funds, there can be charities, there can be government-funded organizations and things like this. Depending on your level of ability, there can be jobs and things that you can definitely do that they can hook you up with, and they can help you build a life. And you can say, I can't take any of the mail regarding this to my house. Can I set this place as like where the mail comes to? And we could just look it over in the meetings because I don't want my parents to get in the way or try to stop me. And they're like, yeah, sure. And like, I know those things exist because my mom made use of them because she had a disability. So I know they exist. They just exist differently in every country, but they're out there. And it sounds like you need them. And if you have internet access privately without them, get well learned in how to protect your history and everything from your parents, your internet history. Start going into groups of people who are in your position. Start making friends with other disabled people, and start talking to them about how they manage their lives, how they deal with parents and carers. Because you might leave your parents, get in a relationship, and that relationship become an overbearing carer. If you don't learn how to deal with your parents, this issue, this dynamic will follow you everywhere you go for the rest of your life. If you are scared of confrontation for the rest of your life, other people will wrestle you down into this dynamic you're having with your parents. You lack the skill set to put your foot down and take charge of your own destiny and make choices for yourself, say no to people, have uncomfortable silences, make people upset. These are all skills you need. You're not going to get them unless you find a way to work around your parents. You need an advocate. Anita, how do I get a grip on my ADHD? I've been NHS waiting list enjoyer for so long. So there's a really, really good content creator. What's her name? She has a lot of really interesting tips and how-tos. I follow her. ADHD. How to ADHD.
If you're watching this video, either you think
she looks like this. She's very distinctive looking. Can't miss her. Oh, here we go. That's what she looks like. How to ADHD. I found a lot of her advice absolutely life-changing. She's done TED Talks as well. So she's really good, but there are also Reddit. I recommend Reddit a lot. There are loads of places where people gather and share tips on how to manage their house, organize their laundry, deal with overload and stasis and, all sorts of things, procrastination and social difficulties. There are going to be things that how to ADHD lady. She will talk about issues you didn't even realize you were dealing with, but you definitely have, and you didn't realize were normal. You thought everyone was dealing with this. No, it's just you with your ADHD. Not everyone has to go through this, right? And so, find people who have developed resources, websites, advice. Make friends with people with ADHD. Watch what they're doing well and what they're failing at. You can learn a lot from people's failures too. That is how you manage it until you get your meds and your diagnosis. But you'll pick up really cool things like there's a lady who keeps her toothbrush in the shower because she really had trouble keeping up with brushing her teeth. But what she does is she puts a show to watch, and she only watches her show in the shower. So she can only watch this show in the shower. So she definitely showers because she wants to watch her show. And then in the shower, she has a toothbrush, so she gets her teeth brushed. She has the stuff to clean the inside of the bath and the shower. So part of her shower routine is she washes while she watches the show. She washes her bathroom naked, um, while her hair is drying and stuff. Um, and she gets all these things that she couldn't keep up with, hygiene things. She gets them all done in the shower in front of her show, so that it all gets done. Her skincare, all of it, right? Um, and that's one of the ways that she found that she could get those things done because her ADHD was making her struggle with it. Also, everywhere she dumps clothes, she has a basket. So she has a clothing basket in her bathroom where she gets changed and in her bedroom where she gets changed. And where she gets changed specifically, there's like a section for clothes that need to go in the wash and a section for whites and a section for clothes that are clean but have been worn once. So that it's away and isn't just strewn all over the floor everywhere because she's worn it once, it doesn't go in the laundry, but it doesn't go back in the cupboard. And it's simplified her life. She puts a basket on her stairs. You can get stair-shaped baskets. They are a basket, and the bottom of the basket is cut like this, so it just sits neatly on your stairs. And what she does is when she doesn't know where to put something, instead of just throwing it on the floor or letting it be clutter, she throws it on the stair basket. When the stair basket is full and she walks past it, goes, oh, that is full. She will just walk with the basket around the house and put everything where it needs to be. And it's a 5-minute task instead of a 10-year of mess. That's a smart strategy. There are so many ADHD strategies that will really be life-changing for you. The funniest part is I know a lot of them, but haven't implemented them. So, like, on the horizon, there's a lot less mess one day. For me, like, the Pomodoro technique is what I use mostly at the moment, but I use a lot of tactics to manage my ADHD, but the Pomodoro one is one I use the most at the moment. You can Google that. There is a Pomodoro website with a timer. It's very useful. I do all my workup stuff listening to audiobooks only, but I can only listen to audiobooks that I've already read physical copies of. So it's a feedback loop. That's really smart. I'm very paranoid about meds affecting who I am because I believe my problem is I have zero discipline and meds won't get me that. Okay, so here's the thing. People who have ADHD who do not take ADHD meds are several times more likely to get dementia and Alzheimer's. As someone who has been to a dementia ward, that scared the shit out of me. I wasn't interested in meds until I saw a dementia ward and I was like, oh, fuck. Because with ADHD, if you have ADHD, you're several times more likely to get dementia. And that chance goes down exponentially with medication. So the side effects of not taking meds are going to affect who you are so much more profoundly than taking meds. So I intend to give meds a try. I have other health problems I'm dealing with before I deal with my ADHD. Also saving for a private appointment that is self-funded will get you there faster if you have the money. So protect your brain. It's a very important organ. It's the most complex thing in the universe that we know of, and it is a very rare and important gift. You will not get a second one. Also, there are different meds, they behave differently, and so you do not have to settle with one, and there are, like, not all of them make you feel like a different person. So, it's just trial and error. There are loads of different meds that you can try for ADHD. Find the one that works for you. 100%. I went private for my ADHD diagnosis in 2018, expedited everything. See, that's fantastic. How long did that take you, Juice? Well, it was all done in 1 to 3 months. That's fucking fantastic. That's so good. Isn't ADHD med just speed? Is that what it is? I don't actually know what's in ADHD meds. Yes, meth. Wait, it's just meth? We're going on the 1960s housewife drug? Uh-uh. How can I trust big pharma products? Well, to be honest with you, I feel like there's a bit of a I don't know if this is going to be a very comforting talk, but I'm going to be real with you, Mr. Sky. You ready? How the fuck can you trust herbal remedies either, right? So there's a shop. It begins with an H, right? In the UK, I wouldn't say its full name in case they can sue me or whatever, right? But I date someone who worked for them, and they know that they can't actually directly claim any of the health claims. So like there's supplements and there's like herbal remedies for stuff, and they're like, you cannot say that it cures this or that, but you can say this specific wording to insinuate that it helps with it. And people will tend to just mishear you and think that it will cure them of those things. So it does the same thing. So they word it very carefully. And the reason why they can't say that it does help with those things is because it's not proven to. In studies, medically, it's not proven to do that, but people just think that it does. So it's sold as a supplement for it. And they cash in on it, knowing that it's completely ineffective and there's no evidence to back it up, right? And that is a total scam. And that is just herbal medicine. There are people who've been taking some of these herbs for like a few hundred years or thousands of years. And it's been ineffective the whole time. It's been based on a misconception. But because it's been taken for a long time as a herbal remedy, people just believe in it. The difference between medicine and not medicine is whether it's been proven to work. That's all. Not how big the company who produces it is, not how much money they're making from it. Aspirin is a drug. Big Pharma sells aspirin. Aspirin is also the bark of a willow tree. That's what aspirin is. It's the bark of a willow tree. It's super effective. And you can buy a pack of aspirin for like 50 pence, at the local store. Technically, that's Big Pharma. We know it works. We know it relieves pain, right? You do not have to trust the company that currently owns aspirin. You don't. And so, like, it's not the size of the company that really dictates whether or not a medicine works. It's the research behind it, it's the science that describes how and why it works. That's it. That's what you can trust or distrust. Plot twist, all medicine is placebo. I was gonna say, you can't really trust food because some big companies sell you food that isn't food. Like even mold won't eat a McDonald's burger. Even mold is like, ew, no, right? But people eat it anyway. You can't even trust a banana these days. Probably been sprayed with poison. So you trust the research, and that's it. This is lame. I'm not old. Just wait. That will solve itself pretty quickly. Should I leave the married woman alone? Yes, abso-fucking-lutely. Of course you should leave the married woman alone for two reasons. Okay, firstly, it's drama, and you will make an enemy of a random person. You don't know who this person is married to and how they could fuck with your life and get revenge against you. Secondly, how you get them is how you lose them. So if you get with someone by cheating, they will cheat on you. What, you think this person who's disloyal to their husband is going to be loyal to you? Get over yourself. You're the next victim, buddy. Like, someone who's in a relationship flirting with you should be the most repulsive thing you could ever do because it says that they can't be loyal. Like, loyalty is an attractive quality if you're looking for a relationship. Anyone who's already in a relationship who's interested in you, immediately you don't want them. That's a worthless piece of shit. But maybe I can fix her. I promise you, your dick can't fix shit. Dick doesn't change anyone, right? We made up all these lies about dick. We thought that it could change someone from a virgin into a whore. It doesn't change a thing about a person. Your dick can't fix shit. You're dunking it in drama, but you're not gonna. What, you think you're gonna stir and mix the batter and just fix it, bake it into a cake? No, nope. Your dick will not fix anything. I've met so many people who thought I could fix her or I could fix him, and none of them have ever been wrong. Ever been right, even. I've never, all they've done is like found a new reason to cry. Like, anyone who says, I can fix him. Nope. Nope. That's the only person who ever says that is a victim. That's what victims say. I'm sorry. That is like victim slogan. Relationships don't fix people. Thanks for the advice. It is a unique way to look at it. I wish it wasn't. I wish more people knew that. But that said, it's getting late, so I think I am gonna say goodnight. Thanks for hanging out with me, though. It's over already? It is. I'm sorry, but thank you for hanging. Hope you enjoyed the advice. Thanks for all the cool questions. I don't know what my stream schedule's gonna look like this week. I am unsure whether or not I can stream because I have to do a bunch of stuff. Really important stuff. But I will try, is all I'm gonna say. Saturday, I'll definitely be here. I just don't know whether I'll be here on Wednesday. I don't know if I'll be here on Thursday. Is it fun stuff or big adulting stuff? It's huge adulting stuff. I'm about to face down a final boss of challenges, so it's gonna keep me busy. Good luck, you got this. Thank you. Well, you have a good fucking rest of your lives. Love you all. Thanks for hanging with me.